courses and, maybe once a month. But, coming into this, I did want somebody that was somewhat more extroverted, but like not somebody so adventurous as Dom.
So you didn't get.
I'm muted. Sorry about that. First and foremost, we've got to say, my gosh, Pastor Cal came through as MVP. MVP. That was Pastor Cal. Pastor Cal came with an MVP behavior this particular episode, and I'll tell you why he came through as MVP. He came through as MVP because, simply put, he called the people out that needed to be called out. Sometimes people need to be called out. Sometimes people needed to be called out. Honestly, he called the people that need to be called out, said that you're a liar then. If you're telling me you didn't get what you want, you're a liar. Look at yourselves. You're a bunch of liars. Right? I ain't even mad at him. I can't even be mad at him because at the end of the day, he's not telling no lies. Right? People are lying. If this is it, and truth of the matter is, all these. Do you know what it is? It's been like this for the last few seasons, right? The last few seasons, I've had people, and we keep saying, because it had to be done eventually. Someone had to say something eventually, right? And say, you know what, either the castmates are lying or the show has not been doing its due diligence. Somebody needs to take the blame and the responsibility. Right? Somebody needs to take responsibility. And today, Pastor Carl said, I'm the MVP. Y'all ain't gonna call me out this season. Y'all need to fix up. You're a bunch of liars. You said you like to go out and be adventurous. You're lying. You said you wanted a man that's gonna make you happy and make you feel safe. You're lying. You wanted a man that's older than you. You're lying. MVP. That's my boy. Yeah. Shout out Pastor Carl. We needed this about 5 seasons ago, though. We needed this about 5 seasons. Yes. Literally, not on my watch. Straight with the Anyala table slap. Not on my watch. Amen. Gotta say, I appreciated it. It was needed. And we're happy that we saw that, Other than that, I want to just quickly break down. I can see Trey, you're behind there. I appreciate you. I want to break down quickly some of the couples and what happened. I am actually really impressed with Arris' situation with Jasmine. I think he did a good job in, letting Jasmine know his thoughts and feelings. I know how we feel about him, that he may feel some type of way about the Jasmine situation with him. But I'll be honest with you. I think he handled it quite well, Arris. I think he told the truth. He didn't lie to her. He didn't make it seem as if he was fully interested in her. And he told her to her face, hey, look, do you know what? I'll be honest with you. My attraction isn't fully there. And I won't go too deep in this. I'll put this in my review when I do it tomorrow for you guys. But what he put there was really important. What he said was really key. And the key part of what he said was, Arris, was he mentioned a lot of things he actually liked about Jasmine. There were so many things he liked about Jasmine. So that told me that he actually does like Jasmine. The problem is, that he doesn't find her attractive, and there's no going back for that. Okay. Then there was obviously Nicole and Chris situation. Well, we always knew that Nicole was going to end up playing the sacrificial lamb in terms of giving up her dogs. That it won't take long before she starts getting frustrated. So I definitely saw this coming. What I was surprised by is Chris's lack of wanting to move into a house after the show. Sir, you're in this house for the next 8 weeks. 8 weeks. You've married her. So you should be ready to buy a house together or whatever, or rent a property for whatever. Why are we renewing our leases for the next 9 months? You have 8 weeks to figure this out. You decided to come on the show to be married. Yeah, let's figure out how we're going to buy a house. Yeah, let's figure that out. Worst comes to worst, we move into one house, rent it for a bit, keep the money, build it up, buy a house. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna need that to change immediately. Gina and Clint. I'm sorry, Gina has taken no accountability for anything she said, and she loves playing victim. I hate people who do this. She loves playing victim. Like honestly, babe, why are you making me take my glasses off? Honestly, babe, like come on. You know you said some things. He said some things, and you try to tell me he made you feel like okay. You know what? He made you feel like he said he was fat. Now he never said those words, right? He never said those words. He told you he likes slender and athletic women. Well, fat is subjective and ginger is a fact. It doesn't matter whether it's fact or subjective. Baby, you said something that was rude. Oh, but I call my clients ginger. Yeah, but you said it rude to me. So it don't matter whether your clients accept ginger or not. You said rude to me. So it's rude either way. Don't try to play the victim. And then I'm not sure what's going on with this whole, you know what, I'm not gonna move in. But I would rather not move in than move in and have separate rooms because that would feel like I feel like if you don't shut up there, what do you mean? I feel either one don't work, babe. What you on about? If you don't move in, it's better than you moving in and being in separate houses, baby. I need you to fix up. Either one don't work. Either one is a step, as Pastor Cal called her out for, as moving towards divorce. That's the reality. Gina don't want to work on this marriage anymore, right? She can't say that Clint hasn't tried. Clint was like, I'm happy to try it. She didn't want to try it. Then obviously Kirsten and Shaq. Let's be freaking honest. Let's be freaking honest. Kirsten don't like that man. Okay? Don't be fooled by the little touches on screen. I'm not a fool by this anymore. The touches on screen. That girl don't feel her feeling one beat. Right? Nothing he gonna do about it. She don't fancy you. That's why she keeps mentioning your bar lead. You know what I mean? She don't fancy you. Now, could she get round to it? Yeah, she can. She can make do. She can make do. But I'm telling you now, it's not gonna last long. That girl does not like him. Do you know how I knew? If you watch every couple had the same body language except Nicole and Chris. Everybody sat with distance between themselves and the other person. Jasmine and what you call it, Aris's one was probably I wouldn't say necessarily the worst, but I could really see it because Jasmine was actually holding herself and he was actually hand on himself. Then he moved his hand over to her leg, but again he didn't move his body, right? So yeah, Kirsten is not feeling Shaq at all. No matter how she tries to put it, no matter how much she tries to bend it, no matter how much she tries to make it make sense, baby, you don't feel them, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't feel them, baby. Okay, you don't feel them. Yeah, and this is what it is. Yeah. And then the final one was obviously Dom and McKinley. I can't lie to you, both of them are a problem. I can't lie to you. Both of them are a damn problem. Okay. Dominique complains too much. She's judgmental and she's got a little bit of classism in her. Just a little classism in her. She thinks she's a bit classy than she actually is. And she likes that's what comes through her judgmental elements of her speeches and stuff, right? My girl said, "I'd rather you be in a room with 4 other roommates than be in the basement of a friend's house." Really? Yeah, because then it'll be your own space. Is it? Because it's shared by 4 people. It's 25% of the house. What difference does it make? Either one. Either one don't work well. Babe, what are you saying? It's almost like when someone says, you know what, it's I'm gonna make it wild, but like your partner says to you, I cheated, and they say I slept with somebody. It's like, well, I'd rather I'd rather that you slept with that person maybe 2 times, but the fact you slept with them 3 times is so annoying. It's like it don't matter they slept with somebody, like it don't matter how you put it, like come on, right? Then Dominique, then McKinley is annoying too, because Negro, we know you don't want to be here. Because if you're telling me about your dogs are so important to you, you'd have found a way, sir. The dogs have been away from you for 5 months. 5 months. If it was so important to you, you would have moved into a place where you could bring your dogs to. Let's not pretend as if you want to bring your dogs now, as if that's a major issue to you. Don't do that. Because now you're making excuses. The dogs didn't mean to you when you've been in a place for 5 months and not call for the dogs. You understand? Yeah, you've not called for the dogs for the last 5 months, so you can't tell me it's important to you like a this, like a that, like a this, like a that. It can't be that important. Okay. All right, cool. Let me get some panelists on. Let's get the conversation flowing. I only have about 2 hours tonight, so because I have to spin off. But yeah, we're gonna get this conversation flowing. We're gonna get it flowing. All right. All righty. Yes, yes. All righty. Yes. Crystal, Trey, what's good? What's good? What's good? All right, let's get into some conversation because this episode was wild and there's a lot that was going on. So let me start the conversation. Let me get you to a clip first and we'll get the conversation flowing. Pastor Car was doing bits, yes. All right, we're going to talk about Gina and thingy first.
That's adding a level of, I think it causes us to pull apart more than it would cause us to grow, because we're going to be like uncomfortable, walking on eggshells, like trying to figure out.
All right. I think I'm about to take this off because it's going to be slowing down my computer. All right, cool. So Gina and our brother Clint, they ain't moving in no more. Okay, and there's other issues that are playing on the league. Trey, since you got the glasses on today and you look like a superstar, talk to me, sir. What's going on there with that couple, man?
How y'all doing this evening? I just got back in, came from outside, just for a minute. I usually stay in, but had to step out for a second. But man, when you see people and they just continuously play in your face, and you just trying to figure why. We know you don't want to be here. Clint knows you don't want to be here. He's not stupid, but he's also trying to save his face, so he gonna try and stick it out. He done said it. He's like, I'm gonna stick this out. I showed my behind already, so now I got some damage control to do. So that's what Clint doing. Is he really serious trying to make it work? I don't know. Probably not. But Gina, yeah. The more she talks, the more you just cannot like her. She is becoming more and more unlikable. I'm feeling shady tonight. It's what it is. It's what it is. I'm gonna try to restrain myself, but hey, we gonna. The more and more I was watching her, I was like, this chick, just what? I'm sitting there last night watching it. I think I was in Discord with Adrena. We was going back and forth. We was laughing, and then she straight misrepresented. I ain't gonna say lied. She misrepresented the truth to Pastor Kyle about the situation between her and Kent. She quickly went on to what he said to her, but she didn't mention what she said to him. I was like, okay, I see what we're doing here. Like Pastor Kyle don't even know, like he don't get reports of what's going on. What? Really? You playing? Why are you playing? I'm gonna keep it cool. I'm gonna keep it calm. We're gonna let Miss Crystal take it over now. This is what's gonna
happen. Good evening, everyone. I'm trying to remember what 90s R&B group Trey is replicating right now. Trey, give me a "Can You Be My Wifey"? Is it white? What's the group? I don't know. I'm gonna get it before the end of the night. But Matt, thank you.
Can you be my wifey?
Yes, is that
my wifey? All that.
Okay, so I got to give it to you on Gina. She did misrepresent herself. She really, I think there's some self-deprecation there, because you had this conversation with him. That was a one-on-one conversation both of y'all had. Like, am I who you're looking for? Are you interested in, she knows she's a thick girl, and she's really, she's self-conscious about it. And now that he has played into that and been too honest with her, now she's afraid to move in. Now she's like, I don't even want him to see me naked. I don't even want him to see me like in my house clothes, because now, no, we're not moving in together. But sweetheart, I feel like this was you kind of started this. Like you walk with confidence when it has to do with your job. But you have some, some growing to do, some confidence issues. And he played into that, and now you don't want to have anything to do with him. And also, girl, is this the sword you want to die on? He has apologized. I don't think that he knows how to apologize anymore. And I actually appreciate the fact that I actually thought it was going to be Clint that was going to say something rude. I thought there was going to be Clint that was just like, no, I'm not interested, I'm done. But he's like, let's keep going, let's keep trying at this. And I'm actually really surprised now that she's like, you know what, I'm done, let's not spend any more time together. She's the type of person that when she feels like, now that I've made this decision, I need to stick with this decision. It's almost like she's afraid to and it's going to embarrass herself if she goes back on it, So I feel like this is all this surface stuff that's like rearing its ugly head with her, and she doesn't know how to feel. I do appreciate Pastor Cal, as Kojo said earlier, girl, this is steps to you guys not being together. This is not like, make a decision. This is not, oh, well, let's try again next week, or let's try again in a day or so. That's not what not what happens. So make a decision. And I appreciated his advice in this instance. Yeah. And I'm actually impressed. I don't want to say impressed with Clint, but I agree with him. Like, let's keep going. If we're going to move in together, let's move past this. How can we move past this? I really think that he wants to figure out how to move past it. So that's it.
Yep, I appreciate that. You know what? It's also interesting. I ain't gonna lie to you, Gina. I have to say this. She could be a great ambassador for Nike, because the motto is that we build athletes. Okay. If you even work out, you are an athlete. She is embodying the Nike motto. And so, Nike, I need you to find Gina. I need her to represent that line once more again, and let her get her coins, because she says she works out 6 days a week.
Well, you know what, you gentlemen, what did you think of her saying, well, you want me to take you in the gym? You want to go toe to toe with me?
That was wild.
She was trying to it was a self-esteem thing for her. Like, I can take you. And I was like, girl.
He was trying to assert dominance on him.
I don't even know. I think that she was like, I'm gonna let you know how strong I am. Yeah, I guess that is inserting dominance, but that's not what he was trying to do.
Yeah, she really was trying that.
Some people are like that. These, especially in this, I don't want to make it about men and women, but I'm just trying to say some people, but they just feel like they're in a state like, okay, I got to prove myself. I gotta be it. I'm going to prove to you that I can take you. I can beat your whatever. Just stop it.
That's what I think. It was her trying to prove herself to you. Prove to him.
It only take one. It only take one person to run up on you. Have a bad day. I'm telling you. And don't choose the right one.
Let's see if you're an athlete then. I mean, it was wild. I think it was interesting that it was interesting that you mentioned that as well. Like, she did mention that as well. After, I mean, she really did. Like I said, she embodied the Nike spirit. But no, when she did say that, I think she was genuinely, and it's interesting for me, because it's like, how many times are we gonna have this conversation about what he said? Like, he's apologized several times, and you're not letting it go. And I'm saying, by the way she discusses it, she doesn't discuss it from a point of view by saying, oh, I know he said it, and he's sorry for it now, so let's move on. But she was like, we can go round and round with this one. What do you mean we can go round and round with this one? Sis, no, we can. You should have let it go by now. Like, you should have finished it. It should be done. Let's move forward. Everybody get on. But you don't want to get over it. I think you generally was like, I think the reality is that he touched a nerve, right? He touched a real nerve, you know. And I know that in that moment she had that thought in her head, you know, that thought that women tend to have when they think someone's ugly. And how dare you tell me about myself when you ain't even good looking? Like, you cannot tell me about myself. Like, it's an insult. You know what I mean? That's probably what even probably caused even the comment about, you know, how do you know I'm not an athlete, sis? The fact that you said we discussed that, I wouldn't even said that to her. I said, we know you're not an athlete. Okay. We know you're not. I'm not an athlete. You're not an athlete. I work out 4 days a week, 5 days a week. I am not an athlete. So the only athlete here is Nike's particular statement that they've made, that everybody's an athlete who, you know, who trains, who works out. But that's the only athlete that we have. Other than that, sis, none of us are athletes. So this whole straw man argument of what, you know, I could be an athlete. You're not an athlete. So let's leave that alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was silly, to be honest. Silly. Any more thoughts on Gina and Clint? Because they ain't moving in. So, what was your thoughts on that comment that she made about I'd rather not move in and sleep in separate beds, but I'd rather just not be moved in at all. Was that an excuse, or do you actually understand that? Maybe someone understands that and I don't understand it.
Excuse. Like, she don't want to listen. These people on TV. Let's just keep it all the way funky. They're on TV. Everyone tries to be perceptive of themselves and how they look. You know, people care about what other people think, unfortunately. So, you know, yeah. She sees Clint, like, if you look at it, I don't think she's a stupid woman either. She's looking at the situation like, yo, why is he trying to stick through this? This makes no sense. Oh, no, he ain't gonna make me look bad. Hold on, no. You know, because with Pascal, he put on the spot like, hey, we can go ahead and end this right now. You know, the smart thing would have been to just go ahead and end it. Why are you staying? This don't make no sense.
It's the money, but I agree with you. Like, just end it, as Pastor Cal said. But also, I think that now she's embarrassed. I think that she's like, I don't even want to be around him at night. Like, now Liz is stuck in her craw. Like you said, okay, he's insulted me. He's hurt my feelings. I don't want him to now she's seeing every flaw. Like, if we, you know, we look in the mirror, you know, we can see the flaws that other people, now it's like microscopic to her. So she's like, I don't want him to see me at night. Like, I don't want it. Like, let's just not even move in together. Let's try to move past this. Let's see where we can go. But I agree. Don't move in at all then. Just end it now. But she's like, now she's self-conscious to the nth degree. But I feel like she kind of created that monster.
Yeah, definitely hear that. All right, cool. Let's sorry, I'm ready to push that clip. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's talk about, obviously, Dom and McKinley. Pastor Cal called him out and said, listen, you're a bunch of liars if this is the truth. But I want to get your thoughts, because also there was other things that were happening in the course of this particular conversation. You know, things like you know, the fact that, you know, his housing situation, you know, the fact that obviously when he went to her house too, I think he felt a little bit, he wasn't very excited apparently as well, which he wasn't. But to be honest, I don't know. She doesn't sound very excited on anything either. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe it's just her tone, but she always sounds so monotone. But yeah, she wanted him to be excited and he wasn't. So yeah, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on Dom and McKinley. Crystal, you can go first, and Trey can go after.
Trey, you got the heads. You just use a sponge on the head and everything. You did the whole thing. Anyway, Dom, you know what? I'm going to start with Mac. I actually, unpopular opinion, I appreciated that Mac stuck up for himself. I appreciated that he spoke up and he said, well, first he got real quiet, and he's in this headspace now where I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. You got a 1-bedroom apartment, whatever's whatever. Like, I live in the basement, but it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath place, right? So I do appreciate that he spoke up for himself. Now, the dog thing, this is my first time even hearing about these dogs. Like, I was like, sir, I didn't even know you had dogs. Now we're gonna get into oh boy in a second, and that I think that's a little excessive, but I didn't even know you had dogs. So for you to be upset about now you I think what is the what do we always say? The argument is not the argument. Like he's really making an emphasis on these dogs. It's not about the dogs. It's really about the fact that she has been complaining about everything and that she doesn't really he's really taking a look and saying, oh, this is how she is. She doesn't like me. She's complaining about she wants me to be more adventurous. I'm not the person that she wanted. So the argument is not the argument. You're talking about these dogs that we didn't even know you had. I will say I didn't necessarily mind because I guess he's been here 4 or 5 months. But to her point, why didn't you bring the dogs with you if you have this 2-bedroom, 2-bath, or 2-bedroom place, or you could have figured out what's going on with the dogs when you got here. Because people love their dogs, especially they love their dogs, right? So why didn't you bring the dogs with you? I do think that she is judgmental. I do think that to her, just say, okay, to me, you keep saying you wanted to come down here to try it out. That to her sounds like you're not stable. As 34-year-old man, you're not stable. Say that. It doesn't sound, it doesn't give me stability. Say those words instead of complaining every 5 minutes. Well, he's not this type of person. I wanted somebody like this. I wanted somebody like that. I agree with Pastor Cal. If you said you wanted an older man that was more stable, that was more set in his ways, that's gonna maybe ground you a little bit more because you're flighty, that's who you have. Because he's not that adventurous type, and you're that adventurous type. So in relationships, if you got a lifelong marriage, you got a wife that wants to go out sometimes, and you want to stay home. That's sometimes that'll work. So on paper, or when they were matching them, okay, I'll give them that. That's who her mother wanted her to have. So, but to me, I appreciated the fact that he spoke up for himself. I appreciated that, like he said, I'm going to wait a week. I'm going to try this out. My wife is pretty. I'm going to see how this goes. And he didn't complain against her. But once he saw how much it was constant complaining, and then he got to her apartment. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm not going to say anything, like, whatever. Get your stuff, let's go. And he was visibly done, mentally done. He's just going to like stick his heels in and not say anything. But the dog argument, that's not what you're really arguing about. You don't really care about the dogs. And I guess I saw on the after party, and that's my last thing. I saw on the after party that they went on what's his name, Mac. Before Pastor Cal got there, he went on a 10-minute like tirade about the type of person he wanted, and he didn't get that either. So that's why Pastor Cal said, "You're ready for battle." So that both of them have issues, but honestly, what's the name? Dominique, girl, I feel like you kind of created this monster. Now you just like, I just don't like negative energy. I just don't like negative energy. You've been treating him negative this whole time. So anyway, go ahead. Next. And now
Listen, sometimes you got to block all this mess. This is what it is. Listen. How can you dislike negative energy when you emit negative energy yourself? It's counterintuitive. Okay. When I see Dominic, and I ain't gonna lie, I think Dominic is very pretty. I'm like, oh, if I see her on the street, I might, how you doing? Let me talk to you for a second. For real. But her white girl energy is just, it's seeping out. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. It's the type. This may be a stretch. You know, this might be shady trait. I don't know, but the type of white girl energy she gives off is the type of white girl energy I don't think Mac likes at all. I don't think he likes that. I think he dealt with that type before. That ain't it. Whiny and complaining. And there's a difference between white girl whining and complaining and other races whining and complaining. Whew. I don't think he likes it. Now, I will say, I do think, even though it's what they asked for in their partner, I do think they are way too opposite of personality to be matched together. Mac is the stay-at-home body type dude. You know what I'm saying? He go outside, cut the grass, might go get some drinks, whatever, but he is stay-at-home body type. That's what he is. Not really venture. That's what I'm talking about. We need them all tonight. We need them all. But Mac is the stay-at-home body type dude. He ain't trying to go out crazy. I'm almost like that. I don't mind going out, but I done ran the streets. I'm in the house now. I'm okay with it. You know, Mac, he's a little younger, but he's getting there now. Dominique, I'm sorry. She still like to play in the streets. She's a street life type of chick. And that don't match well when you got a person that's in the house. Even though he ain't got no house, he trying to take care of house. He got a basement that he looking after right now. Now, I will say this, it is weird. She was very judgmental, way too critical about him living in his basement. He only been there for 4 or 5 months. And Pastor Cal said something very interesting. It was real quick. He kind of let her know he ain't broke. He ain't broke. They done checked him out. He ain't broke. So that tells me he could have been got his own place. Been done it. But why would you, he's the type of guy, why would I spend all this money on a house or whatever? I just got here. I got a friend offer me a place to live. I could chill out for a minute, stack up some more bread. I mean, your mama trying to throw 50 grand at you, just for you not to do this. They ain't strapping for cash. This is not this type of dude. He's just there because he want to be. Plain and simple. So you coming in and disrespecting the way he lived. If you think about it, not only disrespecting the way he lived, you're disrespecting whoever he is roommating with or is allowing him to stay there as well. You're talking about his friends, because I think it was his friend's house or whatever. Now, I believe she's a female. We ain't even seen her yet. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. But you kind of disrespecting the house here because she was looking like, oh, okay, well, this is okay. This is nice. Okay. I was like, oh, she being shady already. We didn't even got in the house yet. She's been shady already. I was like, this is not his house. Why you don't talk about it? This is not his house. You ain't got to say, oh, this is okay. Well, I was like, okay. Arris did the same. We're going to get to them, but Arris did the same thing with the Jasmine house. He's like, okay. Yeah, not to his standards. But
I have a question, and Kojo brought it up earlier, Trey. What did you think when she said, I'd rather have him roommating with 3 other guys than in a basement?
Honestly, I don't think it's the basement. It's what I just said. He's roommating with a girl. But she has no reason or leg to bring her up at this point in time. Because the only thing that's been said is that he has a female roommate that he's living with, and she's been a family friend. I'm quite sure questions have already been asked about this family friend, probably to his mama and sister. And they say, oh, no, she's just a family friend. It's all good, blah, blah, blah. So she really has no reason to ask about her in detail. You got no leg to stand on. It's going to look funny. But there's no, even if he was living in a house with 4 other dudes, it'd still be the same issue. You just go into a place where he stay at. It's not a big deal. He can live in a house 4 other dudes and still be living in the basement. You saying that's going to be any different? It ain't got nothing to do with the basement.
I thought that the friend didn't live there. It's a family, like it's the friend's parents' house. Like she doesn't even live there. But I mean, I see your point. It's the actual situation. It's the fact that he doesn't actually have an apartment or something like that. Like it doesn't give him stability. I see your point, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter.
Now I'll say that from man to man. Yeah, you are looking to be unstable. You're like, let's just keep it real. You out here trying to get married and do all this. I'm like, you should have a little bit of stability about yourself before you put forth this effort of doing this. Like, no, you need to figure some stuff out. I don't care if you do got the bread for it. You can get it anytime you want to. That's cool. But a lot of this is about perception. Like, how do you look to a person? Like, I'll say this for Dominique. She got a point, bro. You looking kind of brokey dusty out here. You're living in the basement, all these dust mites flying. Like, yo, what you doing? Like, it looks crazy a little bit, just a little bit. But she didn't have to say or insinuate some of the things that she was saying about it. That was the main issue with it. Like, it's not that serious enough for you to talk, how you've been talking. And I don't know if I quite believe, because she said to Pascal, I don't know if she quite believe, she was happy with him in the marriage. It was halfway through the honeymoon where she got turned off at. And honestly, that was right when they went on that horse ride. And he was like, nah, I ain't with this, but he did it anyway. But ever since then, she's been looking at him in a negative light. Like, he's been killing the mood left and right for her. Yeah, I just think that just their personalities is just too far left and right for them to try to meet in the middle somewhere. She's, like I said before, she's still outside. She likes to live that life. She likes to be in the middle of something, be in the midst. This man likes to go to work, come home, maybe have a beer or two with his friends or whatever, and just chill out and watch a movie for the rest of the night. He's at that stage. He's in his mid-30s, right? He's at that stage. She's 25, 26.
I agree with that.
Like,
she ain't trying to stay at home and read a book.
No, she's out there doing Lord knows work, but she out there. Nah, it's just bad setup.
No, I hear that. I definitely hear that as well. And I think first of all, I'm just in my superhero pose. But no, I think absolutely right. I think a lot of I think a lot of it is the way it's delivered. You know what I mean? I actually think her concerns are valid. And it's again less about the basement and more about the fact that you've been in for 5 months. You haven't established a place. If you say you have money, why are you saving money if you are trying to stay here? You definitely would, if you're trying to stay here, you'd put some roots down. You'd look into property, or at least tell me you're looking into property where you're trying to go into. I think that's definitely a valid point. Again, I said the dog situation was a bit iffy, and suddenly the dogs became an issue. That was iffy. And so I definitely understand her concerns in regards to that, and again, if there's no expression of a plan, it can leave people feeling a bit disorientated and not sure what they're going to do after this 8-week process. Then the flip side of it is I think that Dominique doesn't know how to actually deliver her points effectively. She delivers it in a way that's so matter of fact and blunt, it automatically rubs people up the wrong way. So she may even she has a point, and then she delivers it in such a way that it's almost insulting. You know what I mean? Rather than actually trying to figure out what this person's actually doing. So it should almost be in the sense of trying to ask to understand more. So you've been here for 5 months, you're here. These are my concerns. My concerns is that it feels like you may not be trying to actually stay here long term. Because when I see that you're in your friend's basement, I see that, you've been here for 5 months. You said to me, obviously, as well, that, you're still kind of back and forth. It sounds like you're not really rooted here. What is your plan? Are you actually trying to be rooted here? And find out what he says from that moment. Because getting frustrated just makes getting frustrated and then making commentary makes it sound like you're insulting the brother. And that's where also the contention comes in between the two of them. But yeah, they definitely have two ways of operating. He's more introverted, she's more extroverted. She wants more from him. He's trying to give more, but he hasn't got any more to give. Like, they are unevenly matched. But like Pascal said, Either y'all are lying or y'all can actually push through and actually find out what it is that you need to discuss in that meantime as well. Last point, Trey. We'll keep it short and then we'll move to
I had a quick question. I think this was like the second or third time I heard Dom mention the fact that what you just said, it seemed like he can just pull up roots anytime he wants to, almost like she's afraid for him to leave her. That's what it was given off. But I was like the second time I heard it, I was like, okay, do you have a fear of abandonment or something? Or, something just struck me there when she said it. I was like, this is kind of weird.
No, it's the mom's temperament that's sticking in her craw. Remember, the mom said, what if he wants to move back to Michigan? How would you feel about that? And the mom not really loving the mix. And you know what I mean? And the fact that everybody lives in another state, her son just moved here, that's still sticking in there. And you live in a basement. But I agree with Kojo. The way she says it, she absolutely has points. But the way she's saying it, I'm a no BS type of person. He was actually trying to apologize and trying to pull it together during the honeymoon. But she's very matter of fact. She could have said, so what is your plan? In 6 months, what would you like to be doing? Talk to him a little bit more to gain understanding. But no, she's not doing it that way. That's it.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Let's move it on. And to more greener pastures. Let's talk about Nicole and Chris because they're not laying. It seems like okay, they had their dogs come out, which seemed to their dogs, and I start paying attention now to people's dogs because it's a really good indication of what people are. The way the two dogs behaved and the versus her one dog told me everything I need to know. Okay, told me everything I need to know. See how calm her dog was, even under pressure. That tells me that this relationship is going to go one way. He's going to be the one that's anxious and nervous, and every time pressure hits, he's going to be jittering like a bug. But with her, she's going to handle that pressure and she's going to move calmly. Because that dog, I've never seen a dog under pressure with two of them around there, and the dog just was like, it is what it is. Whatever you're bringing, I'm taking. You know what I'm saying? Woof, woof. Yeah, so I was impressed by the calmness of that dog. And it reminds me of the situation about the dogs in the first place, how calm she was when she handled that situation with Chris. So I think their dogs were a very good indication into how they both operate on a regular basis. But the bigger conversation was around moving into a new property, a new house. There were two things that happened. One was him saying about not moving into a house straight away and renewing the lease. Which she actually disagreed to. She disagreed at first, but then decided to be palatable and say, I'm going to agree so that she doesn't have an argument about the relationship, which I think is more about the fact she doesn't want to lose him. I think she sees there's something good in this, and I actually respect that. But I think there is a bigger story behind that. She's had past relations where she's gets attached, and I think that's also part of it as well. Like she's got I think there might have some boundary issues there. And then the second part was, during that conversation, when he started saying that things might not work out, she said, I'm not listening. I said, are you a kid? Are you a kid or you are grown-ass adults? What's this? I'm not listening. And then we found out why, because later on, Pascal was telling her off, not let me tell her off, but he's saying to her, you can't ask me every single day, where are you? She's like, that's my temperature check. No, darling. At that point, it's not a temperature check. It's not healthy to ask somebody every single second whether they are every single second whether they are still involved in this relationship. You got to have some level of security, and he explained it perfectly, but still she didn't want to know. So I want to get your thoughts. What's your thoughts, guys, to this Chris and Nicole situation? Trey, you went second last time, so you can go first. Go for it.
No lie, the moment the apartment thing came up, the lease thing came up, and I heard what Chris said, the first thing that popped in my head was my mind flashed back to last week to what Ludwig was saying. I was like, oh my God, don't let her be right. Please don't let her be right. I was like, no, don't. Oh no, bro, you got some flaws, but I was kind of pulling for you, you know. But now I'm like, oh, this might be some micro manipulation going on up in there, you know. But I'm gonna try and give him a little bit of grace, because I do think, because of what he dealt with in his past with other women, he has some yeah. Because
if Luna's right, we all need to go undercover. So
man,
just say, I'm getting myself ready. If she's right,
I will break out my army uniform, put on my full suit, breastplate, and everything. Don't make me go in the closet and pull out the A. I would pull out the AR. I would pull it out. We're gonna go to war. We're going to war. Nah, it was. I think he has some deep rooted fear of relationships in a whole. He doesn't want to put himself in positions that he was in the past. That's the only why this lease thing came up. I'm trying. That's my grace I'm giving him. I hope that's it. Because if it's not, then okay, bro, you are faking the funk. You are just trying to manipulate this situation where you don't have to give as much as you have to. But yeah, and is it getting to a point where she's going to be too accommodating? Because like you said, at first she was pushing back hard. She's like, no, this made no sense. What are you talking about? It ain't made no sense to me. I was like, bro, what is this? But then she, she went with it. I'm like, okay, all right. This is weird. But okay, yeah, it's I could, I can see them working, but there's a lot of concerns because she is trying to mute her own personality to make this relationship work. Because she done said to Pascal, I thought it was funny when she was like, well, he said, well, yeah, she said she could be alive, this and that third. I haven't seen it yet. She's like, you have seen it. I was like, seen what? Where you seen that? Then they showed the clip of her kind of going off at the camera for no reason at all, but going off at the camera. I thought it was funny. I was like, okay, she has a personality. That's nothing to be, concerned about, really. But I can see for some reason she got in her mind that, oh God, if he sees the real me, he's going to run. And I cannot afford for this man to run on me, because he's the type, if he runs on me, it's going to be my fault. That's what she's thinking in her head. This is going to be my fault. And she doesn't want that. What's up with this fur? It looks nice. I like it. You know what I'm saying? It's working, Y'all,
if Ludwin is right, I said, Ludwin, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see it. And it's all coming back to me now. It's all coming back to me.
That's right, Cookie. You tell him again.
It's all coming back to me now. Ludwin.
Blue control, tell them.
Oh man, it's all coming back to me now. Oh gosh. So girl, I was actually surprised and kind of impressed, but I said, oh no, she has had issues in the past with relationships. He is somebody that's been burned by relationships. Just in case it doesn't work out, he's been run over by relationships. So he's like, well, if it doesn't work out, let's do this 9 months. Like, he has really put this whole thing together in his head before she even sat down. Like, he mapped out the plan, and then she listened to the plan, and she started giving him scenarios, and she was like, okay, but that's not what you really wanted to do. That's not what you wanted to do. You needed to speak up in this moment. So I said, because she's been abused previously, because she's been gone through certain things previously, is she going to start to mute herself? So I'm surprised that she did, because I'm like, girl, pick your battles. You need to speak up. You need to say, let's do 6 months instead of 9 months. But she stuck with the 9 months. Let's do something else. That's not what you wanted. This is working out for you guys. But she didn't. She stuck with the 9 months. I'm surprised and kind of impressed with her because she's starting to mute, because she's called herself, what is it? The fiery Italian and everything. And like, what if when you see my personality, you're not going to like me? So she's afraid to not be liked. She thinks that she's afraid that she's going to come off as the big B, but that's not true. She's afraid of him not liking her. And he's afraid of her leaving him. And they're working from fear. So this is what you get. One person not getting what they want when you start a relationship like this, right? But I want to go back to these dogs. People in the chat, gentlemen, please clarify this. Is this man in a 1-bedroom apartment and them big ass dogs sleep with him in that bed? Because I have a dog, but she a little, y'all seen my dog. She's about 5.5 pounds. But them dogs are almost as big as him. And he's definitely, those dogs are emotional support dogs. That one dog finally calmed down, but this is going to be a lot. And then that's another thing she did. She gave up her dog to make him happy, and I saw what she was trying to do, but that was the one thing. I said, okay, so you gave the dog, so your dog is safe and sound with your dad, but still now it's the apartment arrangement. So this is number 2. You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to be brave and still have your personality. You're still going to have to be yourself. So I'm just wondering what else is she's afraid that she's going to, show that personality and he's not going to like her anymore. And they're starting off this relationship out of fear. And that's not right. So that's all I have. Those were big dogs to be.
They were big dogs. They're not small.
They're not small. And I'm like, they're both in the, how is he getting any play? The only play he got.
He's not.
What the hell, something?
It's been a year since he got any play. The dogs doing all the play for him. It's funny when I saw that last night, I couldn't believe Nicole was like, ooh. I saw her face. She was like, ooh, that could be me and Chris. Oh, that's a good sign. I'm like, ugh. Like, really? For real? That's how you want it? I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that, but that's how you want it? Okay. And then they kind of, was it on? Yeah, it was with Pascal, when she kind of acknowledged the fact that, yeah, she finally got it in with him. And I guess it was okay enough because now she really like, no, I can't lose this one. Nah, I got to keep this at all costs. You know what, Crystal? I'm gonna need you to give us some Mary J. Blige something right now. Just call for it. She's like, no more drama. I can't have it with this man.
You know what? Do you know what? It's so funny. Thank you very much, Mary J. Blige and Biggie. It's giving Biggie, it's giving Young Jock, it's giving Jada Kiss, and I appreciate you. Okay, but no, yeah, I definitely hear you as well, because I was like, and someone said it, the dogs didn't look like they had any kind of anxiety at all. Okay, them dogs had anxiety. I don't know what he was talking about. They did not look like they had anxiety separation. I'm praying to God that Ludwig's not right. I'm praying to God. But I think there is also another thing. I think that there's a representative, Nicole, as well. I think there's a representative. I think there is. I'm nice, but she told us already the real her when it comes out. I'm not saying that she's a meanie overall, but their real her will come out, and the little backlash will come out, right? A little something will come out. There's only so much she can take before she gonna flip. And I think she's treading on eggshells because she's told him, and he said he doesn't like that. She's scared to lose him, like you said. She wants to people please a little bit. I think she's been very cautious about it, but it's going to come out because she's going to get tired of trying to play that role where she's always being level-headed. The emotional her is going to come out, right? It's going to come out, and then we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting watching these two go forward. But that dog did not look like had any anxiety at all. Like they said, he washes the seats once a month, but the dog is humping the bed. Eesh. Eesh. Yeah, and the dog sleeps on the bed. Eesh.
You're right.
Yeah. That's nasty.
That is nasty. If that dog is humping like that
Ooh.
in the bed, and he
Oof.
only wants,
Oh. No, sorry. No, sorry. Okay. I think that was a part. I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about Nicole and Chris apart from. No, we spoke about it. Oh, what do you guys think? Obviously, about the fact that she did disagree with the moving in situation. So she actually didn't want to do the separate houses first. And when Pascal said that he didn't like it either, she then said, "I agree. I didn't want to have this situation." So she's kind of agreeing to things, but she doesn't agree. So she's conforming outwardly, but inwardly she doesn't conform. You know, that's a sure recipe for in the future. We're gonna disagree a lot.
she's going to end up resenting him. Like she's already, given up the dog, and now she's done this 9-month thing, and if she's going to keep putting her mouth, because she said that in an ITM. I agree with Pastor Cal, but she didn't say that directly to him unless they cut it out.
No, they didn't.
So she's going to end up, really saying what she really thinks out loud, and that Italian in her is going to come out. And I'm really like, why are you keep being quiet? You keep being this person that you're not. You are somebody that speaks up. You better start to speak up, and at least give your opinion, because she's afraid to come off as a bitch, and that's not what's going to happen if she just say compromise and say, why don't we do 6 months instead of 9 months? And even Pastor Cal said, I give you 2 weeks. I give you 2 weeks, and one of these apartments are going to give. And they wanted to keep it like that, just in case we don't work out. He's so afraid of that other person coming out that she talked about. He's just living after fear.
Mm-hmm. I definitely hear you. Trey, you got a little message for you. It says, sending this over just to get Trey to go to bed. Do you want to say anything really, really quickly back to that statement, sir?
Yes, if I'm going to bed, I'm taking something with me. I'm leaving.
I knew it was coming.
I'm leaving here with something. I got plenty of room in it too. We're going to turn over a few times. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
All right, sweetheart.
Yeah. Gonna be some tossing, turning, tussling. Mm-hmm.
Oh, snap it down. All right. Oh, baby. That's what you're giving me. You're giving me that right now. If you take your love from me, I go crazy. I go insane.
Oh, baby. Yeah.
Stay with me tonight. Hey. They're gonna think we're taking something tonight, but just pure vibes, guys. Just pure vibes. We're enjoying ourselves. All right, next couple. We're gonna talk about we're talking about Gina and Clint. We've talked about Chris and Nicole. Why do I feel like there's another couple? I didn't do a third couple. Who's the other couple? Why am my brain not working?
Shaq and Kirsten.
That's the next one, right?
Yeah.
Well, have we done 3 couples already? But I always think of the 3 and 2. I always think of white couple and black. So Chris and Nicole, Gina and Clint, and who's the third one?
And Dominique and
we have. Yeah, you're right. We have. Okay. So Kirsten. By the way, I can't see nothing, by the way, in this because I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm literally zooming in and everything. Okay, so Kirsten and Shaq. I'm literally zooming in and everything. Kirsten and Shaq, I want to get your thoughts on these guys as well. I know Seaway and Sean are behind the scenes as well. So we'll be at the top
this
of
is
here.
what I've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
This woman in this dollhouse bed, and she criticized this man so much, and she got something to say all the time. There's nothing on the walls. I was like, this is odd. I was like, what is going on here? Like, did you and we always accuse them, is this an Airbnb? Did she move in here? And I literally, before he said it on screen, I said, did she just move in last week? And he said, it looks like she just moved in last week. But it's void of personality. It's literally void of personality. If you don't want to stick a nail in a wall, there's other, you can have a bookshelf, you can have something. And I didn't remember that she's a soror. I didn't know that. I don't remember what sorority she's in, but there's no pictures of your line sisters. There's no pictures of your family, not a plant, nothing. And then he went in that room and his little bed with this huge headboard. I was like, what's going on?
It's giving Dusty.
I had to watch the after party. I was like, please, because when I found out that she was on there, I said, please tell me something. And then her excuse didn't even make any sense. She said she moved in 2021, but all of the furniture places, because of COVID, had 6 to 8 month lead time. So everything kept getting pushed back and it couldn't get delivered. So I'm sorry, sis, this is 2023. Nothing. That doesn't make any sense. And I appreciate it. He was like, okay, let's see your closet. Let's see your, and just okay. And a lot of people don't have the cleanest closet, but there's stuff there's just nothing. Nothing on the walls, like not a bookshelf. I said, is this an Airbnb? Did she move in last week? What? It was just void of personality. And then she criticizes him for being too funny, or there's a time and a place to be funny. I don't like how, sometimes he likes to be funny. Sometimes, one of my favorite, Kev on stage, like he does dad jokes all the time. His wife doesn't like it, or she's like, listen, I'm gonna stick beside him. Just like, get over yourself. That's the impression I got. I was just like, get over yourself. And then sitting there with Pastor Cal, he actually was okay with the advice. Like, you know what? My wife does that. She doesn't like my dad jokes. You know what? We've been together for a long time. I just thought that she's void of personality. She doesn't like him making jokes. I didn't like Keisha Knight Pulliam like criticizing his sewing machine because he's making bow ties and stuff like that. But I just thought this is just odd. I just thought it was odd. Am I the only one? Please, y'all let me know if I'm crazy, because I was like, what's going on here? That's it for me for right now. I'm sure I'll think of something else.
Kirsten's apartment. I got a fire ass comment. Kirsten's apartment is as bare as her personality. Nothing's there.
That's what I'm saying.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's pretty white walls. That's about it. Pretty on the outside, nothing going on within. This is what it is. She's just nice to look at. The more and more we see of her, this is what it is. She's just nice to look at. There ain't nothing going on with her. Nothing. Now, part of that reasoning, beforehand, I was going to say, well, that's because she don't like this dude. Not really. And so she's not putting forth anything of her personality that she has to. But when you go to her house, I'm like, no, just her personality. She ain't got one. Like, she's bland. Her cousins are more, energetic and colorful than she is. When we met them at her wedding, I'm like, wow, this chick is dull.
So I started to ask, so what does she do? Is she a real estate agent? Like, what?
Yeah. I ain't buying no house from her. Well, hold on. She says I don't know what house she sold. I know a lot of real estate agents nowadays, they're trying to get their business up. I don't know what they sold. You maybe you have to go to her little website and see her listing. How's it sold? I mean, Because if she was trying to sell me something, I would just be looking at her face like, oh, okay, yeah. Bland, just bland. Shaq has more personality. You know, you say what you want about him. I actually enjoy listening to him talk about some stuff. He engages you when he talks. He's engaging. You know, even if he want to sew up some bow ties or whatever, that was weird, but whatever.
And you know what? I'm sorry, Trey, and if somebody wants to chime in, but now I remember the conversation about, you know, he's always talking, but it seems like you're not adding to the conversation, so it flips back to him. I'm even questioning now her saying that he talks a lot, or her saying that he's always picking up the conversation, because he even said, you know, when I talk about my injury, or I talk about school, or I talk about something else, if I lob the conversation to you and you don't give me anything, then I just start talking again. I'm even questioning that now.
Yeah, he said that to Pastor Cal. He was like, yo, you know, I would love to talk about you, whatever. Talk to me. Talk. You know, you don't say the thing, so it ends up me being talking. You know, even if I told you something, he kind of low-key said this in so many words. He said, even if I tell you something, it's almost like you're not listening to me in the first place when I tell you something. It's going in one ear and not the other. Like, you know, she seems disinterested, because she is disinterested in him, number one. But she's just disinterested. And she's playing for the cameras. Because I 100% believe him now when he said weeks ago on our after party, when the cameras are on, she's all over him. The cameras off, get off me. And I've been picking up on that more and more each week goes by. When the cameras, this was killing me last night. Let's get shady. Why the heck she kept looking at the cameras when the camera was on her face, like she was trying to break the fourth wall? Like, why are you looking at me? You being self-conscious now. Why are you looking at me? It was weird. I thought I was watching Coming to America, but, you know, every scene everybody go, the dog look at you, whoop, whoop, you know, like, it was weird. I kept catching her doing it, so it started to bother me. I was like, why she keep looking at the camera when the camera's on her? You know, right. You ain't supposed to look at the camera. You're just supposed to engage whoever you're engaging in the room. We're not here, you know, kind of thing. But she was every 2 minutes look dead at the camera. I was like, oh, she is so self-conscious right now. She is so afraid how she might come off and look.
She's also afraid to let anybody in. Like, she doesn't want anybody to get to know her. She doesn't want Shaq to get to know her. Because she's not a person.
Just from what we've seen by far, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm tired of looking at her now. She's fine, but I'm like, yeah. You know what? I'll go back and look at Dominique now, because at least her toxicity is engaging. You know, okay, let me look at her. Because you, yeah, I know, Coach. It's cold out here, bro. It's cold out here. Cold as the house.
Gas prices ain't no joke. But yeah, no, I definitely hear you. I'm with you guys, man. I was like, Kirsten, you know, I was weird. I thought, is this an Airbnb that you're living in, and you ain't told a full story? Or I was like, well, maybe if she is telling the truth, I think it says a lot about her, to be honest. That you have all the other rooms clean, minimalistic, barely lived in, and then you have a closet which is just jumbled up. It says a lot about your mindset. You know what I mean? You know, that you have one part of the room where you just let yourself be free. And when it's free, it's uncontrolled completely. Whereas the other places are controlled, which is pretty much what you're showing us on the show. Very much controlled in terms of the way that you're behaving with Shaq. You're putting up a particular representative in terms of you being absolutely perfect. And, you know, I say perfect within realms of perfect. And, you know, you're trying your hardest. But reality is, you are really more like the room that has all your shoes all jumbled up. There's a lot of things behind all of that. So it looks like, oh, the house is clean, it's minimalistic, and then you get to the closet. That's the real you. Now we've got to the real you. And you've boxed that real you in that small space. So you present this whole thing as a nice thing outwardly. But when we get to the inner crux, which is so funny because that room is the inner room. You know, no question jokes here. But that is the inner room, and where all your shoes and everything are, and it is absolutely disorganized. Now, I would love to say that's probably more like her, but I think the reality is she don't own that home. She don't own that home. Yeah, that's the reality. Because the rest of the house is too minimalistic for her to be her actual house. But yeah, that's another story for another day. Go for it, Sean, if you're there.
Seaway first, Coach, if you don't mind.
Okay, go for it, Seaway.
Thanks, Coach, because I wasn't able to speak while you were gone. But yeah, I think that is her home, but I think she just got there. Because all her stuff was in the closet, but it clearly reminded me of a house that someone just got to that they haven't got a chance to furnish. So do I think it's an Airbnb? No, I just think she just got to that house, and yeah, she wasn't able to put a lot into it. That was not a minimalistic vibe, especially from someone who's a real estate agent. They know how to stage a home and make it minimalistic, like a stage home. That was not it. I do think it was her house, though. That's just, completely fake. But what I did want to say is I think she's also being quite insensitive to her husband by how she just blatantly says that, she's not attracted to him. She doesn't, like him. She just seems very unaware and aloof of the way her words may, kind of sit and hit. So I don't know. They weren't in the episode that much, but between the home and her just kind of like, yeah, no, I'm not feeling the vibes. So obviously, I'm not saying she can't be honest, but she seems like she doesn't care if she hurts her feelings or not. So his feelings or not.
Fair point. That's a fair point. She's a research agent as well, like you said. So that's also something to consider as well in regards to the housing situation as well. I just think to myself, you know what? Kirsten's playing a good game. She just, when we get to the end of this season, she'll release herself from the shackles, like Mary. She'll release herself from the shackles, and it'll all come out for what it is. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I told you, anything when you don't like somebody, everything becomes a problem. Even the jokes he makes becomes a problem. You know, and it's funny because I think when Pastor Cal spoke to them and he said, well, she said to him that he's been trying more to communicate and over communicating. And then, he said to her, basically, I've been vulnerable, open, but whenever I talk to you, I think it's Crystal's point that she said earlier when I was upstairs, and said, whenever I talk to you, it seems like, you know what, you flip the thing back onto me. I think, again, that speaks clearly to what I was saying about even the house, how it's staged, how it looks like. It represents her. It's like, you're not going to get into the inner, because it's jumbled up when you get to the inner. When you get to the closet of her mind, you're gonna find it's a much more jumbled up than the presentation she's presenting, which is squeaky clean and I know what I'm about and It's very guarded. And so that's what he's finding out right now as he stays with Kirsten. It's a very guarded position that she's in. And she's but there's behind all of that, the realness is deeper within, and he may never experience that because she ain't feeling him like that. So hopefully they can get to the bottom of it. But then again, next week sounds like they might have had sex. I don't know, but we know people do have sex when they don't necessarily like the person to kind of steal the deal. So I'm not even mad at it. You know what I mean? Crystal said that. Oh, she said that she's been there since 2021. Oh. Oh, I don't know. Oh,
yeah, I ain't buying it. Something's off by this girl.
I don't know. Any other points to this Kirsten and Shaq?
How long do you think she can maybe keep all this up?
To the end. I think she's got enough in her to do it.
While still looking plausible? Because it's looking foolish right now.
I think we all know she's lying. I think we all know that she's not interested in him. But and I think Shaq probably knows as well, but maybe he's just playing along now as well. You know?
Yeah.
But I think he's holding that hope.
I feel like Shaq gonna pop off one good time. He's been given the face like
That's true.
You know, he been holding it down. There's been a few times, like especially when she was talking to Pastor Cal, I could tell she must have misrepresented something about their chemistry or whatever. Because he straight
Yeah.
looked aside like, "What? Are you serious? This is what we're doing right now?" Oh, okay. I'm like, all right, he ain't gonna take too many men of them. He's the type. He's a funny guy. Haha. He's the type that might pop off. You know.
Yeah. I think also as well, yeah, I think you know that you're right that he will definitely probably end up probably popping off and that. But it'll be to no avail because she doesn't care. He'll be wasting his time. But they're trying. What can I say? They're trying. You know, I think in the back of her mind, she's probably thinking, I'm gonna give it slightly a go. It's like you gotta be perfect to make this work. Do you know what I mean? There's like a 1 in a million chance this works. Because she's pretty much sold that it's not gonna work. So I just think it's one of those 1 in a million chance. Let me not give up, but it's a 1 in a million chance. It's very rare that this will change, but you never know what can happen, kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I feel like she's thinking about. And I get it. I'm not even mad at her because at the end of the day, I'm not pushing anybody to find somebody attractive. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not expecting anybody to erode their attraction for somebody in this relationship stuff. It doesn't work like that. So that's what I would say. Any more thoughts on that? On our girl Christian before I shift it? CC? No? All right, then let's shift it then. Let's shift it to the one and only. To the one and only. Let's talk about obviously Aris and Jasmine. He told her last week that he just wants to be friends. He say, "I'm just a friend." And then this week they had a conversation which I think was actually really good. I think the conversation was really good. I think the conversation was really, really good. I think he was honest and he was open. It did make me think. I think he likes her more than he realizes. I think he does like her more than he realizes. Because I always say this: if a brother can't tell you what he likes about you, you need to run. But he was able to list off a whole bunch of things, which means I think he does like her, but he's like the attraction is just not there enough for him. But I think that can grow. I'm going to be honest with you, because if you like that many stuff about a person, this can grow. Give it a bit of time, put some effort into it. I think it can grow, but I don't think he wants to do that, and that's his prerogative. Do you know what I mean? What was your guys' thoughts? Go for it, Trey. I'll let you go first because you was popping off. Go for it, then see where you can go after.
She. I feel like a part of him, his cousin is still in his head of what she said to him in the beginning. That's in the beginning. If you notice, he was gung ho in it. He was like, "Yep, we're gonna do this. This is what it is. I done made my decision. I'm standing on it." Then he talked to his cousin. She voices her concerns. Now all of a sudden, since then, he's been like, "Yo, I don't know. What is this?" You know, he's been back and forth on his attraction to her, which is it's messed up to say. I can somewhat understand and seeing his face what his issue is. Is he 100% feeling her? Nah. Does he think she's attractive? Yes. Problem is that he's trying to force himself. Okay. I know she's pretty, but why can't I get with it? Like, why? What's going on here? Like, and he doesn't want to call out some of the obvious things that he's picking at that's turning him to turn himself off from her. Like, there's times when he looks at her and I can see he's picking out the flaws. Like, I can see him picking out the little flaws that she may have, and it is using it against her, which is not fair. And he knows it's not fair. So that's why he's trying not to point it out. Like, he's really trying to sometimes say the right thing. Then sometimes he put his foot in his mouth and, you know. yeah, just go left with it. He definitely made that mistake the other week when he's like, yeah, I'm just, even though he was honest, the way he said it, yeah, I'm just catching friends vibe, that set him back in her mind. Like, bro, I ain't trying to be your friend. I'm trying to be your wife. So that set her off. I do appreciate him being honest with her about where he's at and being honest with Pastor Cal about what's going on with him and trying to get to some semblance of an explanation of how can he deal with it. That is actually good. Is he sincere about it? Don't know. But at least he's putting forth some effort to trying to solve the issue. And Pascal said something to him that, it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, he does seem like the type of person, if you put too much pressure on him, he's going to shut down. And just being in this type of scenario is a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? You got married at first sight, just met this person. Y'all seemingly able to get along. You may not be fully attracted to her. You ain't snatching her clothes off, as she said, because she really want her clothes snatched off by him. That's a little bit of a concern for me because, she has some attachment issues that she has admittedly said, but I don't see anyone dealing with them. That's a problem. This girl fall in love way too easy and she knows it. No one wants to deal with that. That's a problem. But back to him, when Pastor Todd told him, like, yo, this may be more about the situation you're in versus the person that you're in the situation with. Because he asked him straight out, do you find her attractive? Yes. What are some attributes that you like about her? He was able to name them off. What's the problem? So there's actually something else going on. It really ain't her. And it could be the situation that he's in. Not used to this. Cameras all over the place. He can't. So some people can't move like they usually do when the spotlight is on them. It's almost like walking up to a group of women and you trying to pick out one. All dudes ain't equipped to handle that situation. Some of them stumble and fall. Because not only are you going to get the girl that you're trying to get, you have to deal with the blockers that's in front of her. You got to know how to move them out the way to get to her. That's an art form. I don't think he got the paintbrush for it. He don't know how to deal with that type of energy. He's used to just, basically having women probably come to him on some type of level, whatever. He's you can tell he's kind of used to getting his way with some things. And this might be the first situation where, all right, bro, you're going to have to really sit down and work on this. Now, he said he's ready for that. But, we've seen for the last few weeks, there's a few instances and signs that he's given that, make you want to question that. Because he may not be all the way ready like he think he is, but I think it still stems all the way back to, I think his cousin has gotten in his head, and it's still playing in because I know she's going to pop back up. It's weird. There's times where Arris is a little boy still trapped in a grown man's body. He really gives that energy a lot. He's still that 12-year-old boy that lost his father in many instances, in many ways, and hasn't fully grown up yet. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think
Go for it.
Yeah, I think the issue is, I think there's 3 issues, in no particular order. That kind of goes to answering your question whether or not he can overcome this. I think the 3 issues are, 1, I do believe that it's her, partially. I do believe it's her personality. Arris seems to be the type of guy that wants to chase. He wants to really pursue. And a lot of people that are good for the pursuit are maybe like the baddies, whatever you want to call it. And I see this a lot with some of my friends who are a little bit more eager. And I tried to give them this advice, like if you're doing too much, if you're too infatuated too early, if you're selling your housewife dreams of all the things that you're going to do, for a lot of men, you're going to turn them off being too easy of a chase. And I think her being so into him and attracted to him and saying it all the time is a problem. And I've said this, before. And I think I'm not trying to bring Sean into tussle, but I'm just bringing back this thing about why can't you be yourself? You can most definitely be yourself, but sometimes there's consequences to being yourself. And I think, this young lady is going to experience the consequences of her being herself, of being a very sweet, accommodating, falling in love type of person. This doesn't work for this particular partner, but maybe she could be herself with somebody else. I don't think it's going to work with Arris. I think if she played it a little different and was a little bit more reserved, then perhaps it would be a different outcome. The number two is the fact that I do think there are some physical issues. One, her not being thick enough, and other stuff. That maybe is going on facially that I think is throwing him off, but I think that's the least of the three, personally, because I do believe in the scene where he saw her pageant pictures and her crown. I think he recognizes that she's, pretty, can be beautiful, that she does have, a pleasant, face to look at. So I do think it comes up in real life, but I think he recognizes that she can glow up when she wants to. So I think that's the least of the three. But the second most important, I think, is this process. Like Trey said, I think the cameras, the being like forced to do something that maybe he doesn't want to do. I do think Pastor Kyle hit on that. He just seems like a man that doesn't want to be told what to do or to be forced to do anything he doesn't want to do. And I think this process is throwing his ability to be that kind of person we saw in the first couple episodes, saying whatever, doing whatever. I think he's becoming more aware that he's on TV, and I think he can't settle into his vibe that he normally does, and I think that's throwing him off. So to answer your question, can it be recovered? I think if the cameras go away and he settles into, he can get back into him, then perhaps he can overcome her kind of eagerness that I think is kind of unattractive to him. And he can maybe get over some of the physical things that he doesn't like, because I think she's a really, really good person. But usually my answer is that when a man doesn't find a woman attractive for whatever reason, it seems to be a wrap, versus that's not the same for women. So I mean, my default position is it's probably hard to recover, but I do think the cameras is causing a big issue, and then I think her eagerness is causing a big issue. I have to disagree with Trey. I don't think that Hayden, sister, cousin, friend, really her opinion is weighing on him at all. He just seems like a person who doesn't give a F about people's opinions. I don't think he really cares about what she's talking about. I think it's the other people. So.
Do you know what? I kind of, yeah, I hate what you're saying to it as well. I think there's several layers to this. And yeah, maybe the process is a part of that situation, but I don't even think the process is like, when Pascal was saying it's in the process, I was like, don't give him the get out of jail free key. Listen, Negroes will go after what they want. Okay, he's got intimacy issues first and foremost, but that's not the reason. I think the biggest reason for him not being able to go after Jasmine is, I think he said it, C-Way, it's her attitude. The attitude doesn't make her a baddie. Like, if we actually deep it, if this guy's used to going after certain type of chicks, he actually said it. He said, he said to her, you need to have a bit more, I don't know what was the word he actually used. Because when he was looking at her Bucci pageant, he's like, you need to, almost like she needed to boast a bit more. Like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Confidence, but you had to show it more.
Yes, confidence. He likes, I think he likes the aura of a girl that's almost unattainable, like you know what I mean, like he's won the biggest prize. I think that does something for him. I think that adds something for him in him feeling that attraction towards a person. And maybe that's what's partly missing in terms of the attraction. Maybe yes, the facial, maybe that adds to it too a little bit as well. We know he likes a thicker woman as well. So I think there's I think he's a little bit narrow-minded. If I'm honest with you, I think he's narrow-minded in the way that he likes his women, and that's causing him issues. Because it's not like he doesn't find it's not like he doesn't see that she's attractive. It's that he has a type, and he's sticking to the type. And I think he sticks to the type because it does something for him. I think psychologically it does something for him. It creates a zone of safety. It gives him some validation. Maybe it speaks to him as a man. Do you know what I mean? You know, and gives him the value that he requires when she's not giving him that energy. Like, we don't see, like, you know, one of the things that we said is she's humble. He's like, why are you so humble? Like, I need a little bit more of that. I think he's like, I need a bit more of that arrogance. You know what I mean? Like, let me know that, you know, I'm catching a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm catching a big bird. When I say big bird, this basically means, you know, like big fish. It's like, I need that almost in a sense. So you're actually right. I think her also liking him so quickly is a big issue for him. But I think it speaks larger volumes because it's not just about her liking him from the beginning. It's what's behind it. The real energy behind that I like him very quickly is actually poor boundaries. She likes projects. She likes Build-A-Bears. She likes potentials. It's an ugly energy, if I'm honest with you. And when people actually see that energy and people start to cover it with, oh, I fall in love really, really quickly. No, you don't. You've got poor boundaries. Let's keep it real. And you got poor boundaries, and you choose Build-A-Bear booze. Okay, you got potentials. It's not a nice energy to someone who can see it. You know, maybe if she had someone else, you know, maybe she had a Chris, you know, or a Shaq, who's a bit more, I would say, emotionally intelligent, that can, you know, they might not see it that way. You know what I mean? They might want to take care of her a bit more, might want to appreciate her a bit more. But the reality is, she likes also his energy. She likes his bastardry. This is the madness about it too. Just listen, I'm telling you, listen, just because I'm on him, but Jasmine's got problems too. She likes his bastardry. She calls it him being honest. And I was like, yeah, you like these F boys. Baby, this is why you're in a situation in the first place, because you like these kind of guys. You like the fact he's, of course, director's not a problem on its own, but you like that when he's like that. And I think you're like, I'm not going to say that you like it per se, you want to chase, but it's almost as if like you still haven't learned. And I think you're still carrying a bit of that energy. But I think there's a multifaceted layer. I think everyone's got some points about the situation. I think no one's necessarily wrong. I think there is definitely multi-layers. So everyone's saying the correct things to me, because it's not just one thing we're seeing. I think it's multi. But I've never heard a brother speak so candidly about a woman. Until, you know, the way he did, he was telling all the good things she is, but ultimately he's just not fully attracted to her, and that's the saddest part. Go for it.
Oh, my bad.
Hold on, before you go, Trey, who hasn't spoken yet? I think it's like Sean or Crystal. Sean, is it you?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So yeah, no, I think that I don't know how complicated it is. I feel like he just is not attracted to her. You know, now obviously they each have some different relationship challenges that they bring to the table, but I don't think that there's anything that she could do differently that would make him attracted to her, right? I think what happens is, especially on TV, when people aren't attracted, they back into it, meaning that they aren't attracted to the person, and then they just build their case on top of that and find other things. The same with Kirsten and Shaq, right? She's just not attracted to him, right? But so then everything else gets built on it from there, whether it's his humor and other things. Dominique, she's not attracted to Mac, so she just builds on that, you know, and creates a whole narrative around why she doesn't like them. But it just boils down to they're just not attracted to each other, you know? That's honestly how I see it. Now, is Arris the most mature person in the world? He absolutely is not. Is he ready to be somebody's husband? He is absolutely not. You know, there's nothing about him that shows that he's ready to be in a compromising relationship. And I think what, and I know Seaway didn't want to tussle, and neither do I. The point that I think is the fact that when, and we talk about this all the time, when there is an imbalance in a relationship, that's when it's off, right? So I'm not saying don't be yourself, but when it's an imbalance, when the energy is not being reciprocated, right? So Jasmine's energy towards Arris is not being reciprocated. So therefore, she should not be giving him compliments and letting him know that she wants him to jump her bones. That's the problem, right? It's not, she should still be a nice person. She should be the decent, sweet young lady that she obviously is, right? So that shouldn't change, but the way she engages with him should be different, right? So that's what I just want to clarify. I don't think people should be a doormat, you know, to people, or be walked all over to people. No, I'm never advocating for that. I do think that you should just be genuinely nice. And right now, Arris is not being genuinely nice. He's being inconsiderate. He's being rude at times. And he has yet to say anything nice about her and who she is, really, as a person, as somebody that he could consider as a wife. And Pastor Cal, although he did the Lord's work with Gina and Clint, I think he did them a disservice in this conversation by not having Arris speak first, right? By not having Arris say all the lovely things or conjure up some things that he feels about Jasmine, right? And if he can't do it, then that's not a good sign. But don't downplay it. Don't say this is part of the process. No, if you're not attracted to the person that you're supposed to be married to at first sight, it's going to be a hell of a run. And I don't care how much women can grow into attraction, it's going to be a hell of a run trying to get through it. And in most instances, it don't work out, because trying to grow your attraction to somebody that you've just met and you're not attracted at first, and you got to get to know them on top of that, it's a lot of hills to climb. It's a lot of valleys, you know, and I'm not going to get biblical, but it's a lot to do. And you need more than faith the size of a mustard seed to overcome that. So Aris and Jasmine, they ain't gonna make it, you know, and he's told her in so many ways than one. And back to what you were saying about her boundaries, yes, she has none. She has no boundaries, because to even let the words come out her mouth that she wished he would she wished that he would jump her bones. No, you don't wish that on your worst enemy. He's not into you. What does he have to offer you? None, nothing. He has nothing to offer you. And she needs to cut the service, the doting on him, the rubbing his feet, all of that stuff just plays into, and again, from one only child to the next, those things, especially if there's no reciprocity in it, it's not going to go anywhere but get you taken advantage of. And he might just fall into the cooch, right? Just because it's conveniently there, and he might just fall into it. But that don't mean that there's nothing coming out of that situation, because how he felt is how he felt. And I'm done.
Can I ask a question, Kojo, Sean? Because I think, Sean, what you're saying is that he's not attracted. And that, to me, I never circled the drain or pussyfooted around. I said that last week or 2 weeks ago, that he wasn't attracted when a lot of other people on the panel were calling her a beauty queen. But my statement was, and what I was saying is, why isn't he attracted? Because sometimes that goes to whether it can be rehabilitated or not. So I guess my question to you is, are you saying that he's not attracted day one from the altar based on physical things? Or are you saying that he's not attracted because of her personality and physical things? Or are you saying he's not attracted because of her personality? And are you saying any of those or none of those can be rehabilitated ever? Because my statement is, if it's personality based, perhaps that can be changed. But if it's physical based, which I believe it is to some degree, and I said that a couple weeks ago, then I don't believe a man is going to change that no matter what she does. So, yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you necessarily were circling the drain on that. Just in general, I think some of the sentiment has just been there's multiple layers, and I don't see that there's multiple layers. I don't think he is physically attracted to Jasmine. You know, I don't think that he's physically attracted to her. I think, you know, listen, I'm not in his head, but ultimately, as a man, if we are physically attracted to you, you get a very long leash. But from day one, he has talked about not being physically attracted to her. And then the other things just became additions. And that's what my point was. I think when we are not physically attracted to someone, we start to back in and justify that lack of attraction with the other things that they do. Right. So it's going to be about, oh, you need to be more confident in her instance. Right. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. However, if he was physically attracted to her, granted, might he be bothered by those things? They're not going to be deal breakers. Right. So that's my point. I think it's just a carte blanche. She's not his physical type. He said that on the after party, multiple episodes. He said it. I don't think there's any way we can splice it, right? And I think similar to what you mentioned earlier too, sometimes as viewers and opinionators on the show, we want to rationalize people's unattractiveness or level of attractiveness because we as men may think that they're attractive, or somebody else or women might look at them as attractive. It doesn't matter. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So for him, when he sees her for whatever it is, and I think that's one of the things why he's grasping at these straws to try to explain it, because the minute you say you're not attracted to somebody, people want to know why, and really they're kind of attractive. They're cute. She's a beauty queen. You get all these questions, and sometimes it's just you're not attracted to them. It doesn't make them an ugly person, right? They don't have to be ugly, medium ugly, whatever the word you want to throw out there. You're just not attracted to them, and that's okay. But I think, again, the part that I have a problem with is the way that he treats her, and the way that the fact that he's really not interested in her, but expects all of these things of her, right? So, and then for her to have a willingness to give it, that's also problematic, because we can read the room as very grown people and see when someone is not attracted to us. And sometimes we try to rationalize it, right? You know, well, I'm this and I've had this and I've had that. If they don't want you, they don't want you. My thoughts.
I mean, I agree. I do think it's more physical. I just think to myself, is because you get thrown into a process though, like if he said she was a 4, but originally when he said it, she was a 7. So I don't know if anything has shifted. Do you know what I mean? That's why I said what I said, because when he first spoke, it was a 7. That was with the guys when he first said it to his boys. He was a 7. He was excited. He wanted to blow her back out. When he got to the actual honeymoon, it went to a 4, right? And the reason why it went to a 4 when he was explaining it was because she's so hot on him. So I'm not saying it's not physical. I'm agreeing it's physical. I'm saying that I don't think she carries enough of. I think when you first see somebody, right, you can think they're attractive. It doesn't have to be necessarily fully attracted. And then I think when you start to get to know them a little bit more, especially in this environment, you're forced to know somebody. You know what I mean? The allure and the mystery that somebody carries instantly disappears. Because if I meet you for the first time in a club, or I meet you in a party, there's a mystery that usually happens. I don't see you again maybe for a day or two or whatever, right? And it keeps that allure. There is no allure in this situation. I get to see you straight from the beginning. I'm married to you. I get you in the bed. And I think he was... I think there's... you're right. I don't think he's fully... we really know he's not fully attracted to her. But I think he was willing to make concessions until she locked off the sexting. Because honestly... the guy was hot on something, blood. Right? And it might have been just that, you know what? He just thought to himself, back and hit something and be out of here. I think when she started, and I'm not saying that she didn't, that she was completely boundaryless, but I think when she started resisting the sexual aspect, that's when it went all the way off. It's like, okay, that's at least I'm gonna work with you, and I'm gonna work with you on a sexual energy. Give me that at least. And then when she turned that off, I think it just shut the whole thing down. And when she's forcing him to now actually deal with emotions, that's gonna piss me off, because I don't like you like that all the way through. I'm not fully attracted to you the way, and now you're kind of making me go down a lane of trying to emotionally open up and stuff like that. I don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely hear that in that instance as well. So I ain't mad at that, to be honest.
Yeah, what I would say too, to just push back on that a little bit, is there's a couple of things at play here. And in listening to Aris talk and hear his responses over the last few episodes, I call cap on all that extra sexual bravado. I'm gonna blow your back out. I'm gonna, we'd have been tussling at the in Jamaica. I would have been a porn star. I call cap on that, because if you woulda, you coulda, but you didn't. Because Jasmine also said that she was open and wishing that he would be more affectionate with her, right? She was the only one of the ladies that came to the bed looking like something, right? She had all that lingerie on. So trust me, that as much as she wasn't wanting to have a conversation at the dinner table about what her favorite sexual position was, she definitely was open to let him see where things could go. And she's been saying that. She's also said that all the talk that he's done to everybody else doesn't match his energy when they're behind the scenes. So for me, that shows that you can talk a good game, but yeah, maybe in certain situations, it ain't what it's not all what it's cracked up to be. Or he just got a serious type and she's not it. But I think there is a lot of cap to the biggest thing I would say is there's a lot of cap to all the talking, because as a grown man, he's almost 40. You can't keep talking about what you woulda, coulda, shoulda done. You're grown enough to be able to show improve. We do all that cap talking in our 20s, right? When we feel like we got to impress the fellas. At 40, you should be confident enough to either get it done or not.
So what's all the sexual talk for then?
It's bravado. It's bravado, Kojo. People do all that cap talking all the time. Oh, I'm gonna blow this shorty's back out. Oh, she don't even know what I'm about to give her. It's nonsense. It's a mask, because you think that's what a masculine man does. You think, because he doesn't remember, he has a very shattered relationship with his father, and he lost his dad very young. So he doesn't really know what being a man is. Clearly, he doesn't know what being a husband is, because he's not even showing it. So it's all chat, because that's what being a man is, right? I can get all the shorties, I can bag them, right? I get the baddest of the bads. And then in the reality, are you really doing it, or are you picking on the most vulnerable, right? Because mind you, this man has never been in love.
Yeah.
Never really had any serious relationships. So to me, I think everything for him is very surface. So the minute she didn't suit his fancy, and again, the fellas talk, it was for the cameras. Oh, wow. Wait. If she, and the question was positioned to him as a hypothetical, right? What if she, not necessarily, he never said, oh, she's hot, she's smoking, she's too bad, right? 7's a safe number. For the KS fans, he wouldn't even let you say 7, right? It's a safe number. It's a safe number. It's a blanket number. So I don't put any credence to that 7 he gave her. I feel like it was just cap frat boy talk. Me and my boys have done it in the past, right? Oh yeah. Hypothetically, bro, if she came to my door and said anything, I'm gonna say, get on your knees. But what happens when she's there and you're in the middle of the situation? Cap. I wish I had some caps tonight. I just feel like Arris is cap. I don't think he has that much depth to be like, oh, she's not intellectually stimulating me, or she's not giving me enough pushback. I don't see that in him.
I mean, Sean, I'm with you when you're right. You made me think about something, and I do think it's cap now that I think about it more. But also know I do believe life is about nuance and nothing is straightforward. There's no straight line. I am in the boat that he is not physically attracted to her, and I think once he got closer to her at the reception, I think he realized that more clearly. But I do believe for men and for women, like Kojo was saying, your personality, even though you may not be able to put a finger on why somebody is unattractive to you, if their personality is not given that confidence, strong, or sexual energy or whatever that she wasn't giving off, I do think that also threw him off. But I don't believe that her correcting that part of her personality, if she was even able to, would change some of the other stuff that is throwing him off. But I think he's objective enough. He's like, to see that she's not a bad looking girl. I think he's able to see that. But I don't think she's really giving him that, like what you need. Like, for example, like we can all say different show, oh, Mark Anthony's attractive, right? But he may not be attractive to, let's say, Jonique if he's giving off little kid energy, or he coming off like he ain't got a lot of money, or whatever it is. You can say, hey, this person is attractive in theory, but they're not doing it for me. So, but I do agree. I do think that was kind of like kiddish Cap, that get on your knees, and that's probably why it offended most of the women, because it's not the way you talk about somebody, like, for real. That was very weird. So,
well, let's pick a straight line then, since we don't like straight lines. When she came down that aisle, I think at first he was attracted. At first. The moment they got by themselves and the 2 a.m. light came on in the club, he went, whoa, okay. Nah. Because that's when I first saw him start to look away a lot. He wasn't even looking at her or giving her eye contact at that moment. Beforehand, he seemed like he was all in. The moment they got by themselves and they started talking, yeah, you saw his interest level decrease more and more and more. Now, to everybody's point, was he capping a lot, especially how he was talking big talk? Yeah, a little bit. And Sean is right. We've seen dudes do that all the time. You talk a big game, can't back it up.
Okay, so I agree with Sean too. I'm not reneging on what I said last week. I still think he's an asshole. But I also agree with Seaway. So this girl is oozing all over this man and saying how I would like my husband to jump my bone, or feel like he wants to jump my bones, and I think my husband is fine, and all of that stuff. That to him is making her less attractive, because he wants a woman to give off a certain amount of just confidence. Like he wants that chase, like there's something that I can't have. He knows that he can have her, so he doesn't want her. That's an addition to, yes, he's used to the big booty girls or whatever, or the video looking girls, because that's what he thinks that he should have. Or no, that's not what he thinks that he should have. That to him is something that he can conquer. Okay, he's not attracted to her, but I truly believe it's because of all of this, I'm so attracted to him, and I really want my husband to want to jump my bones. So as Kojo said, during the honeymoon, he's talking about crass stuff like, well, what's your favorite sexual position? Because that's going to keep him a little bit more interested. Oh, if I can I'll just have sex with her. But she wants the intimacy. She wants the foreplay. She wants the actual sex, and she wants more intimacy, and he doesn't want that. He just wants to have sex, and he doesn't want to actually get to know her. And he's like, damn, I actually have to respect this girl. I have to talk to her. I actually have to get in tune with her emotional side. That's not what he wants. That's not what he's used to. So, and I do think he is stunted growth, as Sean was saying. He doesn't have a good connection with his father. He hasn't had to have any emotional connection with women. And now he's married, and now he's actually have to get to know this woman and actually have to like her on an emotional level. That's messing with his head. So I do think it is because, girl, stop oozing all over this man. Stop paying him all these compliments. They're not going to be reciprocated. And once you realize that, okay, he's not paying me any compliments in return, you should have pulled all the way back. And I said this 2 weeks ago, pull all the way back, because you're not going to get this in return. He doesn't like you like that. But I also believe it's because because he wants somebody that he can chase, that he wants somebody that he's like, that he couldn't get. And now he's going to have to actually build a life with this woman. That's not what he wants. That I truly believe that's what he's been showing. That, yeah, physically, that's not his type. And he's starting to think, well, she's what I should have, but she's not what I want, or that's not what I'm used to having. And now, then I said this, oh, damn, I'm going to have to actually respect her. I'm going to actually have to have a conversation with her. I said this 2 weeks ago. That's not what he wants. That's not what he's used to. So that's it. Yeah.
So listen, before you run, Kojo, why do men friend zone women?
Why do people friend zone people?
No, women. Why do men friend zone women? Not why do women do it to us, but why do we do it to them?
I mean, listen, oftentimes you're not attracted to the person. You're not attracted to the person. And attraction is in two formats: physical, and then sometimes a physical plus you might have like some defaults in personality that I don't really like. Do you know what I mean? Or someone might have, that's the reason why someone gets into friend zone. Yeah.
So Trey, would you concur with that?
That was the political correct answer, the way to put it. So I
give it to us, Teddy Riley.
Sometimes she just listen. You know what? Yeah, something about you ain't working for me. We just gonna be friends. Sometimes this is what it is. You know, mainly the attraction. It's just nope. So you're gonna put her in that box, and that's where she stays.
Exactly. So
I ain't mad at it. He ain't lying.
That's pretty much it. And he clearly friend zoned her because she said in the last episode, or whether it was the one before that, like, I didn't come on here for no friends, right? Because that's how he sees her. I don't think he knows enough to really see, like, there's nothing glaringly enough on the surface for her within their short time span together for him to be like, oh, there's a massive default, character flaw. Maybe she's not his vibe. Maybe he's used to women that move a little differently. But knowing what we know of Arris, he ain't got that much depth, If I was a betting man, I would bet it's the physical. And then everything else is just little things. Because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect, right? So we all know, I think he's grown enough to realize, listen, I'm going to have to take something.
Yo, Sean,
but it's the attraction. And we as men, especially a guy like him, it's hard. If you're not attracted, they're not your type. I mean, he said it like 20 different times in 40 different ways. She's not my type. This is my type. He's named different women, and none of them have had not much in common with her.
She's not my level.
Yeah, he just doesn't. It's not what he sees. And he said it. He was like, I guess I asked for a beauty queen and they gave me, I asked for a queen and they gave me, whose handbook is that from? Seaway quotes him all the time. Good old Chris, right? Of all the queens they could have gave me, he pretty much just remixed that statement just in a not so rude kind of way and an obnoxious kind of way as Chris did. But it's the same thing. It's like, this is what I asked for and this is what I got, meaning I'm not happy with what I see. What I see doesn't suit me.
I still personally think, Sean, I still think you're absolutely correct. You just don't like her. Simple as that. We're beating around the bush. He just don't like her like that. But I still think it's a combination of what Seaway said earlier, and it hit me. It does not help the fact that she's literally throwing it at him. It don't help it. Already not feeling you all the way 100% like that. Let's say he's feeling her 60%, right? Yeah. Now, he's like, whatever. Not the fact that she's throwing it. Like, she's like, yes, take it. He's like, nah, I really don't want to. No. Now he's trying to find ways to say no respectfully. And it's not really working. It's starting to get really sad.
I mean, that's fair. I can't even lie to you. That's actually fair. Personally, I think you guys are smack bang on it. I think also as well, just like I said, it's just an attraction thing. And even if I think also as well, do you know what it is? Yeah, it's attraction thing. It's just an attraction thing. But do you know what? I think if she had an energy that told me, like, I mean, let me just put it this way. Her energy is given a 4. It's not giving them a 9. I think that also plays a part. You know what I mean? Like, if you're saying you're a beauty queen, you got to show me some of that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, show me that you're a 9. You almost got to give that energy so that I'm like, oh, I'm winning. But she's given that, and when you meet a girl and she's okay. Again, he's not sold on her attraction all the way, but at least a little bit. Like, she's like, but when you talk to her, she's like, Psh, you think you're getting with me? I'm a levels, and you're like, okay, all right, it might make you rethink a little bit, but she don't give any of that energy off at all. You're right, she gives off 1 already. But to be honest, let's be unfair. If she did, he probably would just have sex with her and just be like, after he's had it, he won't be excited by it anymore because he's just not interested. So let me just draw that underneath the line and make it easy for everybody. He's not attracted.
Yo, he literally told her when it was at her house, she's too humble.
Yep, he did say that. I said that.
He literally told her, you're too humble. So yeah, things might, I don't think so, but things might be a little different if she came with a different type of energy. Things might be a little different. But he straight up told her, yo, you too humble. You should be.
He wants her to be cocky. He wants her to, and she's a beauty queen that's nice and humble, the way a lot of beauty queens are. He wants her to be cocky. He wants her to stand with her chest out and say, I'm beautiful, and I'm, this is what you got. And that's not what she's giving off. And he wants her to say, don't you want me? He wants her to give that off so he can be chasing after her. She wants him to want to like put his hands all over her and do all of the things. He's not wanting to do that because she's too humble, because she's too nice and demure. And that's not what he wants. He doesn't want demure. He doesn't want classy.
Coach, I know you guys got to chop it up with the other couples. But since Seaway and I missed out on all the action and we have some people that also come in late, would you mind if we just, her and I just kind of went through some of the other couples that we missed talking about?
You got control, so I'm gonna jump out. So you got control. I'll still be in the background, but yeah, go for it.
Okay. So do we think we're good with Aris and Jasmine? Have we beat this to death? The attraction combined with her personality that's way too humble.
Yeah, he's not her person. She's not his person. I think we should just. Not even sure if Arris has a person on this planet, so we can just move on.
We can 100,000% agree on that one. I think he ain't ready for nobody's marriage. He needs to start with a relationship
his person is that kissing cousin, so that's where he's. That's his person, and let's move on and leave poor Jasmine out of it at this point.
Exactly. She don't let him find somebody else to do it, right? So. Who you want to go to next, Seaway? Who? Because I know we missed out on several other good ones. Who you want to jump into?
McKinley, and I mean that was the one that really stood out to me that I was mad that I missed. McKinley and Dominique. Dominique with a Y, as Miss Misha would say now. So
yeah, these two, I mean, listen, they both got a lot to them, to quote you. You know, they both do got a lot to them. You know, she has some points, though. I want to be annoyed with her. I want to be mad at her. But, you know, she had a couple points. You know, she did have a couple of points. So what did you want to dig into? And I'll kind of piggyback on what you have to add.
With them, I mean, this is my textbook. Everybody's right, everybody's wrong. If I had to pick a person more wrong, I believe it's Dominique. But I'm big on reading, you know, between the BS. And I do think McKinley is full of crap. I think he is doing underhanded stuff. I think he's very aware of the camera, and I'm gonna make it plain. I think that Dominique is picking up on the fact that he came here for the show. He doesn't have a home. He's grown as hell and giving, you know, dust vibes. And I don't think that that's what she wanted at all. On top of the fact that I think she's not attracted to him, which is, you know, first and foremost a problem. But I think as a woman, if your personality is also not giving, that's even a bigger issue. You know, if your finances and your personality is not where we need it to be, it's going to be a bigger issue. And so I think that's his problem. I think he's doing some little underhanded stuff when the cameras are not rolling. But I will say this about Dominique. Dominique, and I've been at her mother's head from the beginning because I think she did her daughter an extreme disservice by about to give her a divorce under her belt, which is completely unnecessary. Dominique at 25 is not ready to love. She may be ready to love, but she's not ready to be married. She's uncompromising. She's coming off very miserable. She's harping on things that really don't make a lot of sense for something that would end a marriage, which also goes to her immaturity. And she's not really fully communicating what her real issue is with him until the end, until she said that he's not, for his age, he's not where she would like him to be. And I think that's the biggest issue. But she's really being very needy, picking at him, coming off very agitating and very immature. And I think that's her problem. But I do not agree with Pastor Cal, like, everybody makes decisions, so oh well. Dominique's a lot of things I just named, but Dominique is not stupid. She's not letting up because she sees that McKinley is full of crap. We may want to feel bad for him because she's acting insufferable. But I think that everyone who does feel bad for him maybe should just take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because I do believe that she is seeing something that we're not seeing. But she is coming off very insufferable, very miserable. And I hope that she will not be this nitpicky in her next relationship or marriage. But for her to be not happy that a grown behind man that was giving the leg up of white privilege is literally living in a basement with nothing really to call his own and came to a city just to be married on a show, that's a huge red flag. And I wouldn't be with it. So that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm with you on the fact that, you know, I'm over the minimization of a major red flag, right? You know, it's his so what when she was like, he's not stable. To me, people make those types of decisions all the time. What? Pastor Cal? Come on. Do better than that. Come on. You know, like, listen, it's one thing to be in transition, but he's been in that basement for 5 months. You know, 5 months. And I also happen to agree with her about them dogs. You know, I love my dog, but I could not imagine being in a whole different state away from her for 5 months. And then I want to talk about, you know, I love my dogs and you didn't ask me my dog's names. Did you tell her? Do you know your dog's names anymore? Do they know who you are? Have they forgotten you? Because 5 months is a long time to be out here talking about, oh, I need to get settled. What? You said you had 2 bedrooms in that basement. So why can't them dogs come with you?
Where are the dogs at again?
They're back in Michigan, where he's from.
With his mom?
Yeah, or whomever. The mama got money, so they might be in a pet resort somewhere. But whatever it is, they ain't with him, you know. And Michigan ain't a stone's throw away from Tennessee, where they are, right? Am I correct? In Tennessee, right? You know, so to me, I understood her point, and I loved how she said, "We ain't about to sit here and argue over these dogs now that ain't even with you." Bro, we got bigger fish to fry. Now, what I will say about Miss Dom, you know, because Mac is definitely unstable. We know that. We've called it from day one. He should not be on here. But they're going to slip a Dusty in every single season some way. Some of them are more glaringly Dusty and others are not, right? And then he's going to talk about, I do well. You know, my you ain't got to worry about money. My cannabis business does well. Oh, so then it does so well. Why are you in a basement, sir? Why are you in a basement? You couldn't get a month to month? Take that $50,000 your mama was going to give you and find a month to month. Or tell mama to help you purchase an investment property, right? And let's make this money out here. So I just think like he is definitely unstable, but he does have the patience of a saint, because I'm about sick and tired of Dom's whining, complaining, her voice, her monotone. She talks through her teeth. Yeah. I'm not gonna move my things in. Like, come on, stop being spoiled. She just was throwing like a temper tantrum. You don't seem to be interested. You're killing the vibe. Like, her vibe is so high energy. Like, your vibe is not high energy. Okay? It's not, ma'am. She has no self-awareness. And that to me is problematic. I don't think she's going to be great in the next relationship either, because she does not have self-awareness. You have to be able to look at yourself. Every time she's like, I feel like I'm the coach. Coach from where? Coaching him into hell? Because she's been nothing but negative. Coaches don't do that. They show you a play. They say, run this play. This is the best way to do it. Come, follow me, motivate me. I'll show you. That's a coach. And not that we need her to be one either, but she called herself one, so I'm going to call her out on it. Exactly, C. Perks. She's a negative Nancy. And a negative Nancy that doesn't even know they're a negative Nancy. Like, that part is even worse. Matter of fact, it's not even worse. It's even worse. I'm going to jack the language up. It's worse. Because at the end of the day, you can't think you're saving the world, and meanwhile you're making everybody miserable. And I'm so glad that he did and was able to articulate himself, and let her know, nah, I'm gonna stop you right there. That's not what we're gonna do. So.
You know what the weird part is, Sean?
Mm-hmm.
For a person who has apparently so little self-awareness of her own self, she does have far more discernment as it comes to McKinley. That's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has a lot of discernment way beyond her years for figuring McKinley out ASAP, because there's been a lot of women on this show that have been with dudes far more obvious than McKinley and his mess, that have taken them half the season to figure out that they were bums, they didn't have their own house, that they were on the show for publicity. It usually takes the women quite a long time to figure it out. I have to give Dominique with a Y a lot of credit for seeing that the math was not mathing with McKinley early, because so many women her age would not have peeped what's really to McKinley. But that's the weird part, is the fact that she is so mature and aware about what he's doing, but she doesn't seem very self-aware about how she's coming off, about what she's complaining about. And I just find that to be interesting, because usually people who can read the room are able to also be able to, like, yeah, no, I'm tripping right now. And there seems to be a disconnect when it comes to herself, which I think is interesting.
I would say she's definitely astute in picking up on his flaws. I don't think it's maturity though, because if she was mature, mature people know themselves and also have awareness of their flaws. So I don't know if it's maturity / discernment, or she's able to pick up on the things that are important to her, right? So she knows, right? She's smart enough to know, like, hey, look, at the end of the day, I know what I bring to the table, right? I know what I have. At the very basic, I want somebody that's going to be doing that and better, right? And she can clearly see and pick up on the fact that McKinley isn't it. And again, I think there's also a little bit of this lack of attraction. So when you're not swooned in by the person, when there's not that chemical attraction those dopamines are not firing all off in your body, you have a lot of clarity and you can look at somebody, so you can look at somebody and see, I see this flaw, I see that flaw. I do think she's very judgmental. So judgmental people always point their judgment outwards. Very rarely do they swing that judgment back at themselves, right? So that's how I see her as very judgmental. So she can look at you, she can look at me, and she could be like, oh, I got Sean's number. Stand in front of that mirror and point out some of her own flaws are very difficult. And that's also, look, she's 25, so her cerebral cortex is still, she's still got work to do. It's the reality of it all. So I'm not even gonna, she has still time to grow and learn and really have more experiences before she's fully out there. And I think she definitely made a valid point, and I'll finish here, is that when she asked for an older man also meant somebody who's more established, not an older man that's doing worse than me, living in the basement. Talk about they're trying to sort things out.
Yeah, and this may be my projection. So if y'all think I'm projecting, then y'all can save the comment because I just acknowledged it. But in my head, I'm feeling like Dominique doesn't really want a white man, despite what her mama, and we're not going to get into this hunting thing because Lord have mercy, but I really don't think Dominique wanted a white man. But if she was going to take an older white man, I think, to your point, he needed to come with some funds. Otherwise, I think she would want to be with a black dude or somebody who's younger, more fun, more akin to her personality. I think it makes it double, triple offensive that you're an older white man living in a basement. Like, to me, that's like 3-4 strikes. That's 5 strikes. And you come from money. So you had every handout in the world, and this is what you're doing. That, to me, is even worse. And now, everybody owe McKinley mama an apology, because now it's really coming out why she was so freaking annoyed. He done went to a whole nother state that he has no relation to and popped up and got married, and now he talking about he gonna stay when he left his dogs with her. Yeah, if I'm mama, I'm pissed too. He's tripping.
Either two things happen with her choice of race. Either she told Mafs herself that she's open, it doesn't matter, and that's why they gave her a white guy, or the mama filled out the application and put white. It's one of the two. One of them two things happen, because they don't just throw a white boy on you if you like white, if you don't like white people, right? They do the same thing for black couples. They'll ask them if they're open, right? So you got to say you open, or that's exclusively what you want, or they're not gonna do that. That's the one thing they won't do, is mix a race if you ain't interested in mixing a race. So I think she might like a little white man. I wouldn't put it past her with that voice and the way she be carrying on. Now, the catfish threw me for a loop. So you might have won me over when she talking about she gonna fry some catfish, because I love me a good catfish sandwich now. She gonna catch the catfish too fresh and fry it. She might have my vote. She could just be quiet and stop complaining.
With biracial people, you always, to me, the dead giveaway is looking at their friends. Those are the people that they choose to be around. Those are the only choices that you make in life. and her friends are black and very black acting. And yeah, so I personally feel like it's, especially in the South, I believe that she dates black men. I don't know what her preference is, and if her mother is influencing her, then yeah, maybe she does not mind white men with some money if her mama has anything to do with it. But I think the lack of attraction for McKinley is all a part of that. What you mean? Y'all, her friends weren't black. Her friends were black. They were black.
Oh, who said they weren't?
Phil, they were black.
Yeah, it looked like it was, you know, it didn't look overly identified in either one way or the other. So again, I still think she's dipped her toe because she is very white identified, if that's even a thing.
It is a
When
thing.
she turns 30, when she turns 29, 30, she's gonna be fired. If she keeps her head on right and learn and grow up with someone, she's gonna be fired.
P-U-E.
Okay.
I'm just not convinced.
I mean, listen, there's a lid for every pot. We know that, right? So I've learned to, you know, not project what my level of attraction is for one person or not. You know, I will say that I love me some Kirsten, and you know, when we get to her, I'm gonna tell you just how much. But yeah, I think, you know, listen, I don't think she's an unattractive woman, but what happens to be problematic for me is the whining, you know, the voice. I can't do it. You got to get somebody else to do that. It's not gonna be me.
And the eyebrows.
What's wrong with her eyebrows? I didn't notice that.
Oh, God bless your heart.
But listen,
like hate now. Hold on now.
Her eyebrows were painted on.
Oh,
really?
Very pronounced. Hers and Gina's. Ooh.
Okay.
Paint? For real?
Those eyebrows were absolutely offensive. And that is also making me feel like her mother hates her, because why?
Yes.
Did no one tell you?
Okay.
We settled.
See, look, I missed it. So
Not subtle.
I'm gonna have to take a closer look at that. Hold on.
I didn't even pay any attention to it. You know, well, listen, she's not totally unaware of herself, because when Clint made that comment about slender women, she was like, well, I'm a little plus size, or whatever comment she said. So she is aware that she's a little on the thicker end of things. So yeah, she is. She got a little bit of self-awareness to her. Not enough. It's physical, right? So
She could be like Gina, who thinks she's skinny and athletic.
No, because remember, she was also offended about Clint's comments, so she didn't think she was skinny. Gina, Gina needs to be rescued. If I ever saw someone gaslight themselves, this woman has said she is slender, and now she's a full-fledged athlete. Is that you telling us, Theo? Are you ready to move on from who are we talking about?
Yeah, we could talk about Gina and Clint, because Gina, all I have to say about them is not much. All I have to say is, if Gina's tired and over it, have the balls and pull the plug, because that is an example of two people, mostly on Gina's side. Gina was not attracted to that man from the altar on. There is nothing that he can do to change that. That is an actual physical attraction issue, and she's no longer going to give him a chance. And then when he had the audacity in her mind to call her plus size, or whatever the hell he called her in her mind, you know, it's it. They just need to pull the plug. And he's still trying to try. I mean, I commend him for that. I think he's being far more mature. But the fact of the matter is that she doesn't want him. She's never going to want him. And when he called her big, there's no coming back in her mind.
Now, he didn't call her big. See, and that's the gaslight, because he didn't call that woman big. All he said was, my normal type is athletic and slender. She decided to take it personal.
Opposite of slender, though, is what?
What you said? He didn't say you're not it. He said this is what I've normally dated.
And
Now,
then she
if you
came right
wanna,
behind and said she's athletic. That
right.
hurts her.
So
That
if
hurt
you
her
feel
bad.
if you feel like, listen, and this is why, this is where if a hit dog holla comment comes into play, right? Because this is my issue with Gina, right? It's right here. So if I say this is my normal type, right? And then you get offended, and then you're going to turn around and say that well, I'm slender, and then she threw out a number. I don't remember what the size was. I don't know that, right? And then you're going to say the next time you're athletic as well. Then which one is it, Gina? Are you offended? Because you're saying that you're all the things that he's saying that he is normally attracted to. So I'm not sure where we went wrong with this.
You're forgetting the beginning of the convo, Sean. They were talking about, yeah, they both have a particular type
Yes.
that they didn't get. And then Gina goes, yeah, I didn't like people with red hair. And then he went, yeah, I usually date people who are slender and athletic. So
Correct.
the context of the conversation is they both didn't get what they want. So if he said he normally dates slender and athletic,
yes,
then let's be honest. What he's saying is she ain't slender or athletic. And
correct.
just for anybody who's confused in the comments, I don't have any issue with him saying that or any issue with him having a type, especially after she called, pointed out that she don't like people with gingery, features. But I mean, it's pretty clear that he's calling her a big girl in my mind.
Right. And I can rock with you on that. So I'm not debating that part, right? But I'm saying, which one is it? Because if your response is, I'm offended that you said, that's like case in point, right? Kirsten told Shaq, I'm not really attracted to bald guys. And then he gets offended, but he said, but I'm not really bald. You don't see this skin fade that I got? I got hair. So how can you be offended if you're saying you're not the very thing that he said you were? So it's like, pick a lane. Either you're saying that he doesn't see you for what you really are, because you are slender and because you are athletic, he can't see you for what you are. Or are you just going to be offended because you feel like he's calling you overweight? You got to pick one, but you can't have both. When you have both, you're just playing games with people and you're not being genuine about your offense, right? So that's my problem. Like, pick which one you want to do.
Can you highlight Sandria's comment? I think that's the answer to your question. Sandria's comment, right? Oh, I don't know if you can highlight it.
Yeah.
She said, oh yeah,
This
yeah.
one?
Gina took offense because she believes that she is slender athletic, and he basically says you ain't.
Okay, so then it goes back to my other point, is that she's just gaslighting herself then.
Well,
Because
that's what I think. That's
she's
what
sitting around here talk about she's slender and athletic, then she's gaslighting herself.
I have a question, Sean.
We all agree on that one.
And this is what I said earlier. What did you think about her wanting to combat him about the gym? How do you know I'm not an athlete? Do you want to see me take you in the gym or something like that? What did you think about her wanting to prove herself to him when the conversation she had with Pastor Kyle? What did you think about that?
I just think it was more deflection, more delusion, right? And then it's just further solidifying that she's not interested in Clint either, right? So that's whenever you hear that conversation between a man and a woman, and especially if it's led by a woman, that's her just canceling him out and saying, I'm not interested in you. I'm gonna out bench press you, or whatever she said in the gym. Yeah, nobody that's attracted, no woman. I'm sorry. Don't tell me. I hope y'all don't feel like I'm speaking for women, but I'm just saying from experience or having an interaction. If she's interested, she's not going to do that. So it's just more ways to dismiss him, and then now she's just trying to compete and overtalk him. You know, because
that was
like,
a gaslight anyway. That's a
Huh?
gaslight anyway. Even making it about it being actually about you being an athlete, when in reality, it's slender and athletic means slender and athletic build. It doesn't mean you're an actual Olympian, because we were saying like Nicole got athletic arms, but maybe Sean wasn't saying that, but everyone
I
else
contended. No. I agreed, and I was
okay.
corrected that she has a gymnast build. I didn't forget it.
Exactly. So the point is, like, Nicole has a gymnast build or certain build. It has nothing to do with her being an athlete. And so and she knows that. So her making it about how much she can bench press was ridiculous.
Nicole is athletic. Let's just keep it real. She bench pressing dudes for real.
Oh my goodness.
Let's keep it real here. Gina, y'all too tussling around the bush with this. She just straight lied to herself and everyone around her.
I think she started the conversation. She started with, "Oh, I'm not the woman that you thought you were going to have." And now he called her on it. He said, "Well, usually I don't." And now is stuck in her craw, and now she's pissed, and she's going to combat him at every turn and be like, "I can take you in the gym." And like, now she wants to like stick up for herself. Like, girl, this self-deprecation. This self-esteem, you got great self-esteem when it comes to business, but when it comes to your physical appearance, she faltered. Now she want to come back at him, and now she don't want to move in.
Well, Crystal, that's where her self-esteem is really at, her physical appearance. So she's mentioned that before.
Right.
Like, that's where it really is. All this business, I'm a boss, no, it's fake. She cares about how she looks. That means she's been persecuted by how she looks before.
That's why her business is in looks.
You like that play on words? That's my bars coming in. Listen, it's crazy. Like, this woman literally is mad because this man, in her mind, called her ugly. Let's keep it real.
He called her fat. She called him ugly.
It goes all is in the same boat here. Either way, she called her something. She already has body shaming issues with herself. And he straight said something to that effect that affected her. Now she's just upset, period. Not forgetting that she started this situation in the first place when she said something about gingers. And that affected him in a negative way. This whole
Let's put a pin real quick, Trey, because there's new people coming into the room, and a lot of folks is curious as to why the both of y'all are up there looking like y'all stepped off the set of the Bad Boy reunion tour. So can y'all explain why y'all are dressed up like that?
Thank you, because I never got it.
Listen, this started out
5 seconds or less, please.
Listen, hey, this is Bad Boy. We don't do 5 seconds or less, baby. We just don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that over here, Sean. You know what energy is. We ain't doing it.
Not 5 seconds on that. You wasted your 5 seconds. We didn't get an answer.
He been wasted them 5 seconds.
Now, this is it, baby. You know how we do it.
Would you get to it?
Baby. This is how we do. Can't stop, won't stop. Nah, it started out. Actually, who did start that? It wasn't me. I think the comments started that. No, it wasn't. I wasn't the first one that did a costume change. That was Kojo. Came over there with them goggles.
So Trey came on with the shades because he was talking about Gina being shady and lying to herself, just like you were just talking about, Sean. And he came on with the shades, and then Kojo came on with the skiing shades. And then they were like, "Crystal, go get your shades." And then I don't know who brought the hoodie first. I think it was Kojo who brought the coat, or I don't. Yeah. And then
he came in with that army helmet.
So then I had to come. I was like, all I got is like cute summer hats, and I said, "Oh, I got it. I got this. I got my Fenty jumper."
It really started. It really started when I said, "I hope Ludwig." It really started when I said, "I hope Ludwig is not proven to be right."
That's what it was.
We were talking about Chris and Nicole, and remember last week, Ludwig said that Chris is giving off maleficent energy. And we was kind of pushing back against us. I don't know about that, this and that and third, until you see this week, you like, wait a minute. And I was like, you know what? I do not want Lil Wayne to be right, but
that's when I went and got my.
Yeah, daggone it. If I didn't see what she was talking about, I hope it's not true. But this whole thing with him all of a sudden wanting to change the lease, we keep our leases, this and that and third. Yeah, it was given manipulation. And that's when Koja went and put on the helmet, put on the goggles. I was like, yeah, I need to do a straight up change, get hood, because
I had to give my helmet to salvation. If Ludwig was right.
So we about 5 minutes into y'all dissertation, and I don't think nary one of y'all know why the hell y'all up there dressed like that. I haven't heard a logical conclusion to any one of your outfits up, except for maybe the shades where there was some shadiness going on. But outside of that, I don't think neither one of y'all know.
We were afraid Ludwig was right from last week.
Okay. Yeah, we were afraid that Ludwig was right. We're gonna have to tussle with him, so we getting ready.
You tussle in a fur. The Crystal's gonna tussle in a fur hood. She's gonna get taken out. Crystal ain't no fighter.
No, she married Jay.
And you drinking with a hood on. That's the worst thing.
Never get taken out. She the queen. The queen don't get taken. You know, we don't allow that over here. This bad boy.
Okay.
What you talking about, John? This bad boy. What you talking about? Take that.
I was about to say, y'all gonna take that. You're gonna take them jabs. But it's hella entertaining and it's provocative, you know. So listen, we love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. So somebody just said something about Gina that resonated with me that I want to. Oh yeah, Seaway. So what were your thoughts about the whole she wants to wait to move in?
Wait, we talking about Gina? Or we moving on to Nicole?
No, we talking about Gina and Clint still.
Oh, I think Gina needs to hang it up, period. There's no waiting to move in. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Pastor Cal, who I rarely agree with, is right about that. I mean, this whole, like, if you don't move in and give it a college try now, you know, slowing it down is just delaying the inevitable. It's just like, just get the divorce and leave us out of it. Like, let us out the group chat, because there's no reason for you to be, you know, slow walking the situation. But what I did want to say is, when Gina, and this is kind of just a word to the wise, you know, I think sometimes women, we have a longer leash with the things that we say. And most men, real men, I believe men's men, exercise a lot more restraint when it comes to kind of doing the tit for tat back with women. Because, you know, a lot of men's men know that can have more catastrophic effects. But when you meet a man like Clint, who will enter the petty party with you and give you the energy that you gave him, this is the result. Because a lot of times I think, you know, we get away with, we could call a man bald head, small head, big belly, whatever we want to say. Short, little balls, little bit. We get away with all of that. And usually a man is not going to come back, you know, you bald head, take that wig off, take this and this. Yeah, most men won't get petty back with you. But I think in the off chance that a man does get petty back with you, you either got to be ready for what you dished out, or the relationship is going to be done. And I think this is what happened. She could not handle what she got, the energy she put out, because she's not used to dealing with a petty patty. I don't know what Clint's zodiac sign was, but whatever it is a very petty sign. It's probably a Scorpio. It's giving Scorpio. It's giving very petty, very, very petty. So I'm not sure, but yeah.
You just don't want to hit Sean like that. That's wrong. You know.
Sean, Scorpios are very petty. I'm not saying Sean is petty. I'm just saying Scorpios are petty. Hey, JR.
Hey, JR. I agree with you on that. When Clint does fight back, he's like, well, let's move in. But when he does say something back, she ain't gonna like it. That's why she didn't like it this time.
But why I gotta catch a stray? You know, I'm tired of catching strays out here. I'm always catching strays. So look, I think from a Scorpio's perspective, what he said was really not that big of a deal, honestly. And the way he expressed himself, yes, he could have chose better words, better timing, all of that, right? But if he wanted to slaughter her, he could have really just laid her out. This lady sat up there in multiple ways, called him gingery, fair skin, and Seaway, you was the advocate for the ginger community, right? I joined the ginger community
cut it
board.
out, Sean. Cut it out, Sean. Please cut it out. There you go. You're being petty again.
No,
there you go.
I'm saying that you enlightened me to the plight of
you
the
weren't
petty.
Enlightened. You weren't even trying to listen to nothing I was saying. So you're being petty now.
Well, look, we're on the cusp of Black History Month ending. We got a few days. So I decided to muster up and be an ally and have empathy for my my fellow brothers in the struggle, right?
Yeah, because St. Patrick's Day is coming. I take the holiday very seriously.
It's coming.
So get ready.
And you know what? Clint validated what you said too, right? So in that next episode, he did mention that you know, listen, it's very insulting. So that also helped to, you know, solidify your point. So there's that. JR, welcome to the madness. What are your thoughts on Gina and Clint?
Take that.
Good evening, people. Yeah, I was watching the debate. Listen, it's quite simple for me. Like, Gina is someone who's quite fragile when it comes to, you know, maybe her hang-ups, her flaws, but she's able to dish it out. And the thing is, I don't think she was particularly cruel, but she was very forward. She was very direct with it, right? And in retaliation, I don't even think Clint was particularly malicious, but there's only so much someone's going to take before they say something back. So I think she came from a position of being able to say what she wants, but not being able to handle any type of comeback on his part. There are other things he could have said. Like you said, he could have ran her over with a barrage of things that he didn't like about her, but he didn't. It was just that one thing, and she still can't get over it. And the fact that she's even talking about not wanting to move in together because of it means it's something that she takes very personally. And if that's the case, shouldn't throw stones and hide your hands, because that level of self-awareness that's needed to know that you're that sensitive means you should be very careful about how you critique other people, especially with something that he can't change himself. So that was my take on him.
I think you nailed it. And I was just thinking it, right? Because before you came on, JR, we were talking about how Dominique doesn't have self-awareness of her own issues, right? She can point out all of Clint's, Max, but she doesn't have that self-awareness. However, it seems like it's not however, but we see the same thing in Gina. There's no self-awareness. She keeps trying to justify why she was referencing him as a ginger and talking about his features, right? So Seaway, I'm going to pull you in. So I want to self-check for my own self, right? So we're talking about self-awareness, right? So if I'm going to astrologize myself, right, and talk about my sign. So as a Scorpio, yes, can I be petty? Am I a little sharp? But I would say, knowing me and having tete-a-tetes with me and all that other good stuff, I feel like my pettiness and my flaw is more so that I'm abrasive and I could be insensitive. However, I don't like if I'm arguing or having a disagreement with somebody, I'm not going to go after you personally and throw personal things in your face from a petty level. But my abrasiveness, my rudeness, sometimes, is in a lot of ways my flaw. And do you see that?
Your pettiness is lightweight. Like your pettiness is like, oh, you being petty, like lightweight. Most Scorpios that I know, they can be, someone said in the chat, very vindictive and petty. Like and on a more serious level. I don't think yours is serious, but some of your fellow Scorpios, when I tell you they don't let stuff go, they don't let nothing go, and until you do right by them, they gonna make you suffer, and they gonna find a way to make something shake behind the scenes. I don't think you're like that. You're more like lightweight petty, you know. But yeah, so I okay, Rhonda said vindictive is not the same as petty. I think petty is a lighter way of being vindictive, but we can debate that. I mean, I don't really want to, but I think vindictive does have a more calculated part of it. I would agree with that. And petty is like more kind of like light shade, but the spirit of it is similar, but it does have different effects. So I see what you mean.
Got it. Oh, not Jam. You missed our Tuesday night live. It was a good one. You would have appreciated that too, because Seaway always reflects back on when Kojo used to pray on his channel and invoke the Holy Spirit up and through here. And the tail end of the live, we had Jesus all up and through here, boy.
Does he wear the bucket hat?
I don't even remember.
That bucket hat is anointed. I tell him that all the time.
Maybe he was. He might have had the bucket hat on.
That's the only time he gets to praying in 2023 is when he got that bucket hat on. So
well, he did a good old prayer. You got to go back and watch the replay. Yeah. So, and Jam said she witnessed it firsthand. Oh my God, Jam, I was abrasive to you? Oh my goodness. I apologize. I was trying to be delicate, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, Jam said he had the bucket hat. When I tell y'all, I be knowing. That needs to be my headline. I be knowing. I told y'all. The only way he was praying if he had that bucket hat on. That's the only way.
That's his Moses staff. That's how he leads the folks, with his bucket hat.
Exactly.
So look, I don't know, but I think Gina was the queen of the gaslight. Back on topic, right? Because she gaslighted herself right out of the apartment. She gaslighted herself into being offended. She gaslighted herself into being slender and athletic. So she's just having a good old time with the gas and the lights. That's my opinion. Any final remarks before we move on?
We can definitely move on to Nicole and that crybaby.
You want to get to Kirsten and Nicole, huh? All right, let me go find the banner for them. And since you want to go, kick it off.
You know, I said this, a couple of Kojo subscribers caught my comments on the Mafs Instagram because I wasn't able to be on last Thursday. But, you know, Chris, at first from last episode, I thought Chris had poor emotional regulation skills. And was just, you know, completely disheveled and all over the place crying over them dogs. But this episode, it's deeper. It's deeper than that. He's really floating into nice guy but not good guy territory in my book. He comes off like he's been hurt before and everyone should feel bad for him, and his girlfriend who did him bogus, who went on the trip with him and then didn't want him. I called cap on that story from day one. I wasn't sure what really happened on that trip, but I wasn't really fully believing that sob story. And then here we are, after Nicole has already made the sacrifices about these dogs before you even tried to work out that situation. She's trying to like make legit plans, because regardless of this being a show, if leases need to be, you know, given up, you need to have a real conversation about it. And his like, no, you good. I'm good. I think that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. I think Nicole is setting herself up to be in the same bucket as Jasmine. She's making way too many concessions. I think a lot of us, including myself, probably would have tried to help him out with the dog situation, because if I got to look at a grown man cry, I just really can't. Like, I'm going to try to fix that situation. Please don't be crying in front of me. That, like, it's going to make me awkward. Like, I'm going to try to help you, because clearly you can't help yourself. But she needs to, like, chill with all these concessions, because I believe that this good guy is really gonna walk all over her. And I'm doing my quotation marks. You guys can't see me, but yeah, he's giving a nice guy, not a good guy. And it seems like as much as Nicole's willing to give, he's gonna take. And I say this all the time. It is not a coincidence that the women who were dying to get married and would do anything to get married and do insert here with any man that is willing either end up unmarried or in really bad marriages. And then the women who were chill about it, going with the flow, valuing themselves, not just taking anything, not making every single concession under the mud, always end up in the way better, I shouldn't say always, but often end up in way better situations than women who are doormats. So I feel bad for Nicole because she seems like a nice girl. Her and Jasmine.
Now I'm gonna push back on your nice girl because she don't listen. She don't take nobody's advice, and she's gonna do what she wants to do. Because Pastor Cal clearly told that lady, don't be asking this man every single day if you're gonna choose me, which is completely ridiculous.
She was touched for that. She was
whole touched, and she said, I'm gonna do what I want to do. She's like, I like, you know what I can respect though about her is she ain't trying to gaslight us. Nicole is not a gaslighter. She said, I'm not listening to anything. He says, I'm going to do what I want to do. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. So she's going to steal. Y'all think that he's going to take advantage of her? The hell he isn't. No, she's going to steamroll all over that fool every day, all day. And then she's going to peace out after she's done. Because you hear the previews. She said, I feel like I'm going to have to be the jerk, right? Or the bad guy. So she's going to be one and done with him. The other thing that she did was, and that's why I like Nicole, because she's honest. Oh my God, she's honest to a fault, right? So she was talking about this rough personality, and he was like, oh, I've never seen it. She was like, oh, you've seen it. Remember the wedding picture? Cue the cameras. Them cameras will get you every time. She was yelling at the camera about the wedding picture and who chose this picture. So yeah, Nicole got a couple screws loose, but I'm here for it. She's honest. She knows has self-awareness. She knows she's a little tick boom. But she knows how to, kind of control it a little bit too. But I think it's gonna come out a little.
She needs to tick boom him one or two times so he can get it together. I think they'll be straight. I usually don't advocate for that, but little ticky boom boom is gonna help him because he's out of line right now. He needs to get some order.
She was alone by herself yelling at the cameras. That's when I knew. I was like, oh, she's tick boom. That gave me a little Michaela vibes, but we're not gonna re-traumatize ourselves with Michaela.
I really want to see Michaela running through that. Running through the rooms
like a stick figure.
Knocking. Oh my gosh, I got hiccups now. Knocking everything over and then asking Ryan, why? I got the hiccups. I hate y'all. I can't even talk. Why did they let him leave? Oh my gosh. That was the funniest scene in Mavs history. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Jeepers Creepers.
Ooh. You did that. JR, your sound, bro. You're booming.
Oh, sorry. All right, let me fix it.
Ryan was shell shocked on week. You back, JR? Uh-oh.
No, for a second. We'll get him when he comes back in. But the other part is that dog was hunching. And this is how I know it's another part of her that is unhealed. She was like, if the dog has been watching Chris, then I'm in for a good time. I'm like, Nicole, really?
That was bizarre, and that made me uncomfortable. And Trey, is this another outfit?
That's what he had on originally. That's his tribute to Nino Brown, must be.
That's the first outfit of the night.
Yeah, this is the previous of it before
that's
Lewin decided to put war on us. I had to go back to the block. You know what I'm saying? I had to take it back to the block right quick.
This is a good outfit. I like this outfit.
Yeah, that's the one that was smooth. He's smooth with it. That's Nino Brown right there. All right, JR, how's the sound? You ready, bro? Oh, we can't hear you.
JR, it looked like it's sunny as hell. What time is it? Oh no,
No, my sound is messed, I think.
Oh no, you're good now. You're good now.
I'm good now. Okay, yeah, I was saying that Michaela scene, it reminded me of Jeepers Creepers, actually. Like the way she stormed out in when she realized that Ryan wasn't there, man, we knew that Michaela had issues from that point. But I don't think Nicole is that level, right? She's more level-headed. She does have some self-awareness. She does. I think they balance each other out. I think whereas he's on the softer, more emotional side, I think she is much more on the stronger side, more tough it out, probably more thick-skinned. And you can't have two people with the same energy that Chris has. That wouldn't work. It would be an emotional roller coaster for both of them. So there has to be some stability. Like there has to be one who's strong and one who's weaker, and she is that person. So I think that Chris is. I can see why people can say that he's manipulative emotionally, because there's probably this notion that he can turn on the waterworks and win her over, right? Because she has conceded on a few things already, and I think that's for the betterment of their relationship going forward. But I'm yet to see Chris concede for her on anything. I'm yet to see that go, like that be reciprocated. So I can definitely now see why he can come across as manipulative. He doesn't seem to be as open to compromise as she is. But I will say again that Nicole is, she definitely is aware of how problematic she can be. And she's not very problematic. I think she's quite firm and she's quite forward. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's a problematic person. I like the fact that they've been intimate. They've taken it further than the other couples have, and there seems to be no blowback from that. No fallout from that. So I still think that this couple is probably at this point the only couple that I see making it or making it the furthest. That's me.
Tommy smack a day and make the drama go away.
What? Trey, what you sipping on back there? You got You got dark liquor, don't you? You got dark liquor in that cup. I know it.
Gotta have the brown, bro.
He does have brown.
I know you got some dark back there.
It's a school night.
Ain't no way.
It's a smooth 1792 Kentucky batch whiskey. Very smooth, bro. Just very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a school.
I have a question, JR, because you just said something, and I don't know, I may have stepped away. But you said that they're the only couple that they seem like they're gonna make it, right? Which I actually agree with you. They have the best. I mean, out of the five, best of foundation. They seem like they genuinely like each other. But what did you think of what's his name? What is
Chris?
His name? Chris? Thank you. Him making the suggestion of the 9 months and then her just reneging.
Yeah, now that's why I was talking about the compromise part, because that is crazy, right? Renewing a tenancy for 9 months, so you're going to live apart. I mean, if it was Arris that said that, and he was with Jasmine, right, then we would have a problem with that, because he's definitely trying to do something like Pastor Cal said with Clint and Gina. That's not going to be conducive to a working marriage. You're supposed to be trying to get to know each other. What you're doing is you're preparing yourself for separation. So I definitely think that Chris, and I don't get why, because he actually has somebody that he likes, and by all from what we see, they get on perfectly well. You know, like I said, they're like opposites, but they attract in some way, because like I said, the emotional side of him and the stern side of her, but she's willing to compromise. And he was like, yeah, I've got this 9-month lease, and you know, I want to stick it out. It's problematic. It doesn't bring closeness.
Right. Like Pastor Cal said, I'll give you 2 weeks. But I believe they're both they're both doing this process through fear. They're both trying this process out. But he's afraid that that she's not gonna she's gonna leave him, because he's always, you know, been the doormat in the relationship, he said, and she's afraid that he's not gonna like her. So, oh well, I'll just renege and say the 9 months, when that's not what you really want. And he's mapped this whole 9 months thing out just in case, you know, she leaves me, or just in case she starts to things start to go bad. It's already that's you're starting it out bad then. But I agree with you. I mean, out of all the couples, they're the best ones.
So let's get to Doggate. So the dogs is hunching. Those dogs. Oh, we lost JR. Maybe he'll come back. The dogs are hunching, which means those dogs aren't fixed. And that also means that those dogs can put up secretions all in his bed. He has those dusty dogs in his bed. And look, you know, 3 out of 4 of us up here right now have dogs. But I mean, I know y'all may put y'all little ones in the bed. Abby's probably like 3 times the size of you guys' dogs, but she's still not huge, but she don't sleep in my bed. So what is everybody's thoughts on dogs in the bed?
Sean, you forgot one part, and we mentioned this earlier. He only washes once a month, remember?
Oh, he said that? He only washes his sheets once a month?
Right. Remember, he's the one, she washes them she's more laundry, you know, she does once a week, and he just says once a month. Remember when they were in the canoe, and he doesn't do laundry as much? You know, he does his sheets once a month. And I was like, and those are some big ass dogs to be up in your bed like that.
I'm a little biased. I think maybe I'm size biased, pause, but I think if you have my dog is a little baby, he's a little baby Yorkie, he's small. And I tend to have smaller dogs, like dogs under 10 pounds, maybe 14 pounds. Can dogs be in the bed? I don't really mind if small dogs are in the bed. But I do believe strongly that dogs should not be sleeping with you. They need their own space for lots of different reasons, and training and boundaries. Like, dogs need to have their own space for boundaries. So I don't believe dogs should be in the bed with you while you sleep. I think that's just not proper training, and it breeds codependence and other stuff. But for larger dogs and for not neutered dogs, and to have 2 dogs in your bed that have been outside running around, big old dogs that's playing in the mud in your bed, no. You got a little house dog, like Lynn said, her Chihuahua sleeps with her. I mean, I get it. A little small dog that probably is not getting that dirty that you got carrying around anyway. I mean, if you want your dog in the bed, I mean, the worst thing that can happen to your Chihuahua or my Yorkie is you roll over on them. That's my fear. I don't want to roll over on my dog and kill my dog. So my dog needs to have their own space. But a big giant sized dog in your bed sleeping, I'm a big dog lover, but that's a no for me. That's a no.
No.
Yeah, and I mean, look, when I walk my dog, right, when I come in the house, I wipe her paws, I wipe her backside, and those dogs are big. And she does not get in the bed with me. Let's just be clear. She does not. There's no way. I'm sure she wouldn't mind, but she doesn't get in the bed with me. So I cannot imagine, and I don't think he does that. Those dogs look like they go from outside inside. So, what you got to say about the dogs? What do you feel about dogs, JR? Jamaicans hate dogs, so I hope maybe you define stereotypes.
Yo, I don't know how you managed to tell that, Sean, man. Did I give it away that much? Listen,
I know tons of Jamaicans, and most of them hate, especially if they're like from the island, they'll be like.
But it's not just JR. Kojo's worse than JR. It's Kojo and JR be speaking ill on the puppies.
Listen.
But that's because just Kojo has an issue. He has a block. But historically, people that it's something that I learned that I'm telling Jamaicans they don't like dogs. They do not.
Listen, no dogs in the house. No dogs in the yard, all right? That's
in the house.
No,
in the house?
No, man. No. Listen, all this, when I see dogs in the bed and all those, it's confusing to me. It's like, yo, these are animals that walk on all fours, go up in puddles, man, sniff each other's butts, do all types of crazy stuff. And then, bring them in the house where it's meant to be a safe, clean environment. Nah, man, that just doesn't compute. But that's just for me personally. I'm not gonna throw shade and say it's for everybody, but like we're kind of raised like that. You can, those can be good companions, but you have to draw the line, because if you start letting them run up in your house and run up in your bed, then you're not creating the boundaries. They're gonna start doing other things in your house that you probably won't like, running through your cupboards, scratching up your walls, in your bathroom, jump in the bath and be in the bathtub and things like that. Yeah, like you gotta have boundaries, you gotta set rules, keep the pets outside. Feeding time, you might bring them in, put the bowl by the door or whatever, then it's back outside to protect the house. That's as far as I go with dogs.
Yo, listen, JR is absolutely correct. Okay. Dogs or pets are an exercise in boundaries, period. Usually how people interact with their pets and dogs, cats or parrots or whatever they might have, dung beetles, whatever, it shows exactly what their personality is. I mean, think about it. We looked at Chris and saw how his dogs acted and looked at him and saw exactly his personality, what it meant. And vice versa, Nicole and her dog, in control, well behaved, not a peep out of him, did exactly what he was told. Chris, on the other hand, he barely had control of his own animals. Barely had control. Basically let them run rampant. That means you can run rampant over him. That's exactly what that means.
I agree with that. His dogs are running him. He's not running those dogs. He is those dogs' pet. So I definitely agree. It's the other way around in his case. And I agree with Sean. When the dog comes in, my dog, like y'all just saw, is 5.5 pounds. So she's not an outside dog. And I've had her, she has gotten out, and she is so cute that people are like, oh, let her run right into my car. But yeah, you got to wipe her off. You got to make sure that, but she's not running things. You understand what I'm saying? So Chris, those are some big dogs to have in his bed with him. And I know he said he hasn't gotten any in a year, But bruh, maybe are the dogs like, what's going on with a replacement? And I'm not saying that I'm not saying in a literal sense, but I'm just like, you're using them for comfort. That's way too much comfort. You gotta pull back somewhere. What's his name? Chris. That's a lot. That's a lot. And not washing the sheets in a month with them big dogs. Like, those are like some hefty dogs. It's just, ugh.
Well, to be clear, somebody in the comments put, I think it was C Perk said it. He said he does laundry once a month. So perhaps he just does big, maybe he has he goes to the laundry met versus having a washer and dryer in his house. So he just does it in bulk. You know, I don't know. Maybe and then he has like, so hopefully he has several pairs of sheets. But look, either way, I don't care how many times he washes them. I don't think he wipes those dogs down. And the way they were hunching comfortably on his bed lets me know there's no boundaries, right? That means and he's like, stop, stop, stop. The dog was like, shut up. Shut up. Don't try to act like you running things in front of company. You know, be quiet. I'm a hunch to my heart's content. And if you don't shut up, I'm a hunch you. Because, you know, really, when dogs are doing that, a lot of times that's a certain dominance. And if they're doing it on things that have your scent, meaning your bed and your places where you sleep, and they were right up top by his pillow, that means they have no respect for you.
And that's what I was saying.
That just leads me to know they are not well trained, and that would work for me.
That's why you don't have, especially dogs that are larger dogs or dogs that are really built for hunting and things like that. You cannot have them in your bed because, like Sean says, you know, they're packed animals. And when you have them in your bed, somebody has to be the leader of the pack. And I can tell you right now, Mr. Man is not the leader of the pack of them dogs. He is the follower. He's over there crying about codependence. He's not the leader of the pack. Dogs, even though, like, you know, my Rainbow is a baby, but even him, you know, he doesn't respect me as much because I'm all goo goo gaga, and he respects really my husband way more than he respects me. I joke and I call him a misogynist, but at the end of the day, you know, when you're too fluffy with animals, I mean, you're just gonna get less respect. And if you let them in your bed, you know, they probably, you know, may lose respect for you there too. I mean, it's just how it is. You do what you want. But that's what I've noticed having dogs my whole life. They
Who's a
thrive.
misogynist?
I call Rainbow a misogynist. I be joking though.
How?
Who's the dog the misogynist?
He doesn't like men?
No. A misogynist, that means he doesn't respect women.
He don't
I'm
respect
so
her
stupid.
authority. He respects her husband's authority.
Yeah, he doesn't respect my authority. But it's my fault.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I must have had a little bit of whatever Trey was sipping.
Yeah,
on.
I'm like, what you drinking? What's going on with you?
It's sleep deprivation, actually. I'm tired.
I also have an issue with these two big dogs. Isn't that like a 1-bedroom apartment? I feel the same way when I seen Justin in that little efficiency with that dog and that cat and that, like, his zoo. Like, that's not fair to the dogs either. Like, that's no. Come on.
Listen, I think, like, you also pointed out something very important, right? If he doesn't change his sheets for a month, that's a whole month of dog fur, wet dog stench, you know, all up in those sheets for a month, as well as his own stuff going on. All right, yo, like, Nicole's more accommodating than I thought when you look at it that way, because there's no amount of Febreze or dry cleaning or anything that's gonna clean that up.
Yeah, that's low-key disgusting. Low-key, now that you said that, it's actually nasty.
Oh, wait. Somebody, Sasuke, said that he had dog hair on his suit.
That's
what I'm saying. The dog, listen, the dogs probably take him for a walk, probably fix him a bowl of something to eat every day.
That's what I'm saying. Those dogs are running him.
Yeah, you know the best compliment I get anytime anybody visits me, they're like, you know what? I would never know you had a dog.
I got that compliment. Absolutely.
You know, so I love that. When anybody tells me I would never know you have a dog, there was a lady that came to clean my apartment a couple of weeks ago. She was like, I would never know that you had a dog. She was like, and trust me, I clean up the people's houses that have dogs, and it's different.
Well, that's because some people be letting, especially if you let your dog use the bathroom in the house. If you do choose to go that route, you have to be very clean and have a good system if that's what you're going to do. And a lot of people who let their dog use the bathroom in the house do not have a good system, and the house stinks. And
It's
nobody
true.
wants it. And then you can't even smell it because you've been living in the stank for so long, you don't know your house stank.
You go nose blind.
Yeah, you go nose blind. Like it literally will happen, and you won't know your house stank until somebody who's nice enough and honest enough to let you know, like, your house stinks. It smells like urine. I'm serious.
Yeah, and that's again, and trust me, my ex-wife used to tussle with me because she used to want our dog in the bed. And I'm like, no, we're going to train the dog. We used to have so many heated exchanges about this. And I'm like, no, we're not starting that habit. She needs to have her own place, her own things. No, she's not getting in the bed. And one time, funny story, I had gone away. I think I went away for a work trip or whatever. And you talk about petty. My ex-wife is the queen of petty. She tried to get, she was like, oh, now that he's gone, him gone, we gonna put Abby in the bed.
That's every wife that got a husband.
You know, exactly. But the stories go on forever. But the funniest part is she kept saying, come on, get in the bed, Abby, get in. Abby, she said, Abby just looked at her, was like, nope. I don't know where he is, but he don't want me on this bed. She tried to pick her up. She squiggled out of her arm. She's like, nope, get somebody else to do it. See, when you train dogs, that's why I love having a dog. Like, if you train it, they're so, they know how to act. It's the owners that be the problem.
Well, Ludwin told us to move the hell on, so I think we have to at this point. That we were instructed.
Well, she's busy flirting and tussling with Trey in the chat. So,
but in the meantime, she asked us to move on.
Well, she needs to pick one.
Pick a struggle.
Her Gina. Pick what you want to do.
Multitask is gonna multitask. That's how we roll.
That's it. Trey, I can't take you seriously today. I cannot. All right, so I think to Ludwin and everybody else's point, I think we're done with Doggy Gate. Don't call me sassy. So, or was she talking to Trey? Because she's on Trey today, so she might even be talking to me. So we're done with Doggy Gate. We're done with Kirsten, Nicole. She gonna run amok. Trust me. Just wait. I don't know. Did Pastor Cal give them good advice? He did, but Nicole's not going to listen. So that advice fell on deaf ears. Who do we have next? We have Seaway's favorite couple, Kirsten and Shaq.
I already commented on that, but you can go ahead. I comment when you were in the car.
What did you think about his commentary on her apartment?
I said earlier that I think her apartment is hers. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I think she just moved in there. Because nothing is minimalistic about not having a nightstand. That's just childish. Like, at some point you need to have a nightstand. That's like very much basic. And if that is her version of minimalistic, then that's odd. So, I mean, not having a nightstand is something like for college. Grown people should have a nightstand. So I don't know. I said that, and I think she's being mean to Shaq. You know, harping on the fact that she, you know, I shouldn't say harping, but emphasizing over and over again that there's no chemistry. And I think she's another one, you know, don't make him suffer for 7 more weeks. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off. Because there's nothing that he can do. Not a thing. So let's move on.
Yeah, I'm with you. But listen, Kirsten had on them jeans.
You off topic.
She had on them. We talking about the couple. When she had on them jeans and that little top bodysuit, whatever that thing was up top, boy.
She looked great. She's a
whole problem out here.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
She is a whole problem.
But that is the difference though between Jasmine and Kirsten. Kirsten knows she's pretty. She's been told she's been pretty her whole life, and she moves like a person that you're lucky if you're in my presence. Like, that's her vibe. Jasmine is a conundrum because if she's quote unquote been in beauty pageants and this and that, she's not moving like a person who's been in beauty pageants. I'm not trying to bring it back to that, but she's not moved by a person who's been told she's cute your whole life. Like, remember back, I don't want to make this, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want nobody saying I'm not going to make it about me. But you know how, like, some people in theory, like some people, a hypothetical person, if you say they're pretty and then they don't say thank you, it's because you already know you cute. Yeah, that's how Kirsten is. That's the vibe she gets. Like, you know, people done told her she was cute her whole life. Lin, what is Sean simping about? What he doing? What I miss?
Oh, because I said, you know, I'm talking about how attractive Kirsten is. So she's listen, simping ain't pimping, baby. So she's fine.
Sean,
it's hard for me to ignore it. I felt like, look, as sparse as her apartment might have been, that wouldn't have been what I would have been focused on. And that's where I think Shaq gets it wrong. He's focused on all the wrong things. Why are you sitting up there questioning her interior decorating and what she ain't got and what ain't on the walls? Are you trying to knock down her walls? Because that's what I would be interested in.
Sean, if you came into that apartment and saw all her stuff on the floor in the closet and she didn't have no nightstands and there was nothing on the wall, I know you would have something to say.
My closet looks hella crazy right now. If you look in my closet, it looks hella crazy.
But everything was on the floor.
I think his point is that the bare walls and that bare bedroom says something about her. It doesn't show any personality. It's void of personality. I think that
forget the personality. Look, let me tell you, when you're especially in Atlanta, I hate to talk about your city like that, but I learned the lesson the hard way. You walk into somebody's apartment and they ain't got nothing on their wall and they ain't got no pictures. You know when that happened to me? The man was married, living a double life, and that wasn't his apartment. He had just moved into the apartment with his brother. He didn't have no pictures on the wall. The man was a liar. So at a certain point, you cannot walk into a house and see bare white walls and people's stuff on the floor and no nightstand and not have questions.
I agree with that. I think that it kind of shows that she's hiding something, or like, that I'm like, what are you hiding? Are you in the witness protection program? Like, what's going on? And when she said that she moved in there 2021, I said, so you had time to put some stuff in there. So
wait, Crystal. Somebody says Seaway needs to write a book series about her ATL dating chronicles. You know, I was thinking the same thing. Because look, Seaway, you gonna build the defense or build a narrative if you don't do nothing else. Because how that story got there, I don't even.
Because it's literally the exact same situation. I walked into an apartment, naive, 20, 21 years old, not really thinking it was a big deal, that there was no pictures up, white walls, no nightstand, looking like a person was barely there. And the reason why that was it, because he had just got kicked out his wife's house and he was there somewhere that he really wasn't living. So I think once you get to a particular age, I don't care about male or woman, you walk into a house and you don't see any signs that someone lives there. This girl is put together on the outside, but she ain't got no nightstand. She ain't got no pictures. Her clothes are on the floor. I'm trying to figure out what is really going on here.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, this is odd. Like, you don't, and that's your explanation. Your explanation, it makes no sense. That oh well, it was 2021 and the furniture places were backed up for 6 to 8 months. I said that's BS. That's BS. Now it's 2023. Where's your nightstand? And so this is showing that she's either hiding something, she's not forget not giving of herself and not breaking down walls. There's something else going on here. And then she wants to complain and BS about him about, oh, his stuff shows so much personality and he's got plants everywhere. I said, at least have a plant, sis. At least have something that shows I don't even know what sorority she's in. He's like, where's the pictures of your line sisters?
She's definitely an AKA. And that's my toxic trait, because
I don't want to make any sense.
So that's another reason why she appeals to me. That's
when you don't know, but I thought so too. I was like, is she an AKA? But I don't know. So
maybe a Delta, maybe. But I have to, if I had to guess, I would say AKA.
I don't know.
I've dated too many AKAs not to know the pitfall. Don't fall for it, Sean. Mm-mm.
Oh no, trust me, I know.
Mm-mm.
She's a Delta or an AKA for sure.
Oh, somebody absolutely. April says she's a Delta.
She's a Delta? Okay.
You know what? She's one of them AKAs that wanted to be she wanted to be different. She was like, I'm not gonna fall to the stereotype, so I'm gonna be a Delta. But she really an AKA underneath. I can feel AKA.
Listen, I said this earlier. Her personality is as bare as her apartment.
Right.
There's
my point is, what
there.
personality?
There's nothing there. She's just pretty to look at, and I like looking.
Like, oh no, there's a picture. It's on a keychain. I said, what? Doesn't she have family? She has like a month. Like, she's got family. Where are her pictures? She's been there for 2 years. She's been in that house for 2 years. We have nothing to say about what's his name, Mac. When at least he had one wall of a couple of pictures, and he's only been there.
Can you highlight your average logical thinker's comment? Because that's another thing that I didn't think about, but that's also true.
What
time is it at?
10:25 is right there.
Yeah, they have a nightstand.
She had hers somewhere. Where at?
I can't. There's so many comments.
Was there a drawer?
At the bottom is recent.
Was there a dresser in the closet?
No, it was just clothes on the floor.
And then there were shoes.
But you can have a dresser in a walk-in closet. Hey.
That's why I think that there was a dresser in the walk-in closet. Which is stupid when you got all this room on this. She's got this high-ass headboard.
I keep my dresser in my walk-in closet.
Oh, you can do it. I just...
Not where else do they store the Rose toy? Y'all need to put that thing down before that messes up your reproductive organs.
That's all.
Leave that Rose toy alone.
No,
you are desensitizing yourselves. Don't do it to yourself. You're desensitizing yourself.
Just gonna make
you are out of control.
Am I lying though?
Less needed.
Am I lying?
Lies.
Y'all can
lies, because I wait till the afterlife to tell you what that thing can't do that we can.
Mm-hmm. We ain't gotta wait. I think the masses need to know. They need to learn. Hurt themselves.
Whoa, I got a comment to keep Seaway quiet for 5 seconds.
Are we moving on? What's up?
No, I had something to say, but
I'll just say, like, when I saw the apartment, like, listen, you usually expect definitely in 2 years, like, the apartment should be lived in, right? Should feel homely, like people collect stuff or decorate or buy stuff, right? What it looked to me like is she just literally shoved everything into the closet. because I remember the part where he said, "Man, looking in this closet is going to give me some, like his OCD's kicking in." He made a reference to how untidy the closet was. That's because she just threw everything in there. All right, and that stuff was probably scattered around the room. So her attempt to tidy up or make it presentable was just to fling everything into the closet. Now, I mean, she may not be a tidy person. That's what that gave me, and she doesn't want to be called out for that, or that being something that he sees in her. So yeah, I think if we're going to comment on McKinley's basement, then I think it's only fair that we say, she definitely hasn't created a homely vibe in her place. It made me even think, is that her real place? Is that her mum's house and she's just got a room there? Like, I went to so many different things, but I would expect to see pictures, ornaments, books, something that would indicate that that's her main dwelling. Like if you go to a guy's house, like you saw with Shaq as well, he's got a whole sewing machine, and he's got like
don't that's not helping him.
But I'm saying it's reflective of his personality and his hobbies, right? He's got things around the room that he would use or in his day-to-day. Whereas I didn't get that from hers. It seemed very empty. She might not ever spend time at home. That could be another argument for it, right?
Yeah,
she might always be out of the house and not really spending time at home.
Yeah, she did mention that. She mentioned that she's not really home a lot. Rudy kind of helped her to get there. Her other Divine Nine sister.
Is she a flight attendant? No, so she got to go home at some point.
She's a real estate agent. But I just want to put a disclaimer out because I don't want anybody watching this live afterwards. All respect to the Divine Nine. It was all jokes. It was just a little fun about our AKA and Delta sisters. We love y'all. Y'all are the sophisticated ladies.
I'm glad you did that.
So I just want to be clear. I know we have some subscribers that are affiliated. We've got folks that watch. Trust me, family members. I got family members all up and through both sides.
I got black friends. I got black friends.
Yeah, listen, I got friends and I got friends. My first love was an AKA, okay? So just please trust me. No,
they had their comments. Their comments was already written.
Right. That's
yes,
why I wasn't
my
sure.
aunt had two cats and they was he and we. So I don't want no smoke. I love it all. I'm just being tongue in cheek. I just want to be clear. I don't want the skiwees coming after me. No.
Listen, politics matter. That's all we're gonna say about it. Politics matter.
But yes, I didn't say nothing about the Zetas or the Sigma Gammas roles. I said nothing about them.
It's the fact that you didn't mention them that's gonna get you drugged.
No. Now listen, we can't have an all lives matter moment, right? Like Candace said on the reunion. I just was apologizing for the two sororities that I spoke of.
And sororities, especially black sororities, they like to show it off. Like like Deltas, and like we were saying, they like to let you know. You know what I mean? So that's what surprised me that there
she ain't no Neo. She ain't no Neo. She shouldn't still be wearing her. No. That to me, I get what you're saying, but I mean, like, we're old as hell at this point. Like, we shouldn't be walking around strolling and wearing t-shirts and stuff. But
no,
my
thing is a picture or something.
Maybe. All I'm gonna say is I'm not gonna try to convince the folks of nothing. But but I will say this last thing. Please do your due diligence when you walk up into somebody's house and it feels sus for whatever reason. Pay attention to your gut, follow your gut. I don't care nothing about her closet being messy. My closet is messy. I ain't judging the closet. The closet is the least of my concerns. It's everything else. And honestly, the lack of a nightstand, that bed was about 2 inches off the floor. There was a lot of problems there, and it just really didn't match her aesthetic. It's very odd, and I just think that you have to pay attention when things don't look right. That's all I'm saying. And I'm glad that Shaq was paying attention because the vibes were off.
But I think this episode should have been named The Gaslight, though, because there were several couples that gaslit themselves. Because when she sat up there and finally told him the truth, when Pastor Kyle said, "Is there chemistry? Are you attracted?" And she said, "No, not really," or whatever she said. Then he was like, "But we touch, we hold hands in the bed." Bro, I kiss her on the forehead. Bro, stop gaslighting yourself, buddy. Ain't nothing going on there. Ain't nothing going on there. So stop trying to pretend like something is happening with her. She don't like you.
But why would he stop now? This is all he's invested now. He doing what we all know he doing. He gonna give up this early? Hell no, he not gonna give up this early.
But he been gaslighting himself since the day of, talking about, and
he got more gas to go. He got more gas to go. He gonna keep he's riding this out all 8 weeks. He didn't come this far by faith to give up this early.
And also, if you go back a few episodes, the fact that they were holding hands and, kissing the forehead and things like that, that was actually being looked at as something good, right? Something, at least they're interacting physically, despite her not being completely physically attracted to him yet. They were sitting in the hammock or the hanging seated thing in the garden, and they were so close up to against each other, and they were speaking about the lack of attraction, but it can, she was kind of saying to him that it can build, or she likes the fact that he still does those type of things, those small touches. And so he's gaslighting himself to a degree. She's also allowing him to gaslight himself. But she does not like him, right? She hasn't liked him from the start. She's not a grower like that. She's not going to grow into it. I think she's just keeping the smile on her face and trying to not hurt his feelings so much. But she knows she's out of there. And him, I think I won't say he's refusing to give up, because I think he's optimistic, but I think he needs to resign himself and realize that it's not going to go anywhere. If, just like we said with Aris and Jasmine, if the attraction isn't there by now, then it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I get it. You met each other and married at first sight, but it's been enough time where you spent time in the room together, sleeping with each other, going out on dates. You've been around the other couples. You've seen what they're working with. Are you grateful for what you have together? Still no. So yeah, I just think it's a bit of both. I think he kind of is living in hope, and she's already just keeping a smile on her face, but she's already checked out. No hope there at all.
One slight correction, JR. They're not kissing each other on the forehead. He's kissing her on the forehead.
Sorry, yes, but the forehead kisses do mean something though. But it's not romantic. It's not.
To him, even.
Yeah, to him.
They mean
right?
something to him. To her, it's like, as long as you're not touching my mouth, I guess I can tolerate it.
Well, as long as you're not touching anywhere else.
Right? You got it.
The forehead kiss will only have meaning when the other person acknowledges the kiss in the first place.
That's true. That's true.
Either way, you just leaving saliva on her forehead, so it don't mean nothing.
That's true. And you never know, she might be wiping it off as soon as she gets the chance, So
she's like, oh my God, he's killing me with these forehead kisses. She's probably like, if he kissed my forehead one more time, I swear for God.
He don't watch Love Jones too much. That's his problem. That's his favorite movie.
He didn't watch it enough because there was romance, there was seduction that came along with that. So
reciprocated romance and seduction.
But he ain't doing unreciprocated romance. He's just kissing her on the forehead. Old boy was doing a lot more than that. He was laying down the poetry. He had a vibe. It was and he was clearly seeing that there was chemistry between the two of them. Dang, a bit more chemistry between these two than water and ice cubes.
He don't watch The Best Man too much. That's what it is.
No, he didn't watch it enough, bro. Because even if you watch The Best Man, you're gonna find something that you can gravitate to that's gonna help you. Because there's so many different personalities in each one of those cast members that you can be like, oh, he did that, I can do that, or I shouldn't do that. But he's winging it, and it ain't working. And again, when she said, "Listen, you believe a woman when she tells you." If she say, I'm not interested, there's no chemistry, there's no chemistry. That's letting you know that's better than what Alexis did. Or which one of the ladies was like, no, Jasmina said that season, Michael, is dry like a desert. Once you say that, you don't come back from those things. She didn't say those words, but she pretty much said it. So that was the nicest thing that she could say.
He looked at her like she said it. When she said what he said, he looked over like, oh, okay.
Then he gaslit himself, Trey, because he was like, oh no, we be kissing on the forehead. We be holding hands at night. Who holds hands at night going to sleep? What? Don't touch my hands. Get out of here. It's too hot for all of that. Either we touching, or turn to your side, I turn to mine. Because if we ain't touching, I don't need you to be all up underneath me. Sorry.
Next topic.
What you say, C-Way?
I'm like, Luke, next topic. Actually, we ain't got no more next topics.
That's it. We're done. It's the last couple. That's it. We got Kojo in the background. I don't know if he's gonna come up. And I think we have effectively talked about each couple. Oh, somebody says she likes to dance, and he seems to be a good dancer.
Oh yeah, he had that little wine going on. He had them hips moving. He's moving them hips.
Touch me, tease me, feel me, and caress me.
What? Trey.
But like cakes.
Kojo, thank you for coming back because Trey is out of order.
Sure. I appreciate it. Well, it's still in your court, Sean, to do the benediction if you guys are finished. So
anybody else? Anyone else have any final remarks before we conclude?
Go on, set yourself off.
Y'all are funny. Well, listen, we had a good old-fashioned time tonight, I gotta say. Really light on the tussle and heavy on the good time. So we had a good old time. You had some entertainment. You have folks dressing up for y'all, giving y'all the 90s throwback, shout out to Bad Boys, come out and play, So listen, this is what you get on this channel. So please, we ask this, have been 400 to 500 people strong in this chat actively. So we appreciate y'all. Please like this good content. Likes are free. So please share with a friend. Let them know. When we think about these couples and their relationships, listen, I think my takeaway was don't gaslight yourself, right? So if it ain't there, it's not there. The worst thing you can do is fool yourself into a situation, right? You have to read the room, know who you're with, right? Not only pay attention to the signs that are obvious, pay attention to some of the signs that are right below the surface. If somebody doesn't want you, you don't have to accept that. You can move on. But at the very least, don't try to convince you or anybody else that you are what they want, right? You should only be with who wants you. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And most of all, as we looked at several folks, we saw the opportunity to have some self-awareness. Please, in relationships, self-awareness is so important, right? Having the ability to know your flaws is going to help you to be a better partner. So often we're able to see other people's flaws because they're obvious, they're right in front of us. But it takes work, it takes introspection, it takes a level of self-healing to look at yourself and know yourself and to continually and actively work on yourselves. So if you want to be in a marriage, if you want to be in a relationship, focus more on you and what you're doing to be prepared versus what the other person is. Back to you, Coach.
Appreciate it, Sean. Thank you. Good show, guys. I did hear some of the show from behind the scenes as well. So you guys were really cutting it up behind the stage. So thank you, Sean. Thank you, Seaway, JR, Trey, Crystal for coming on and chopping up with us tonight. Audience members, thank you so much. You lot came 500 strong today to listen to Married at First Sight. I know y'all are tired of this show, but we ain't gonna be tired. We're gonna keep on going. And also as well, Fresh Prince actually started today. Well, yeah, today actually, yesterday. So I think we're gonna review it. I'm probably gonna do it Saturday. I'm not gonna lie to you, because or should we do Sunday? Can we do it Sunday? He's messaging me.
But can we ask them if they're watching the Perfect Match?
Oh, if you guys are watching Perfect Match, I'm not watching it, but I don't mind hosting it. I
really want you to watch it, Kojo. The Dark Arts.
I want to watch that, niggas.
It is right up your alley. It's the craziest thing I've ever.
Those ubiquitous Negroes. How many episodes is it?
Right now we're at 8, and then they've released. But they haven't released the ones that are coming out on the 28th or whatever. But
so like 4 days.
Yeah, but like you gotta see Bartising. You gotta see what's his name? It's such a difference between the Too Hot to Handle folks and the Love is Blind folks. Like you can tell the difference. They're completely different. And the Ultimatum folks act like the Love is Blind folks, but the Too Hot to Handle folks are the Dark Arts nonsense. So it's just very but it doesn't seem like a lot of y'all are watching the Perfect Match, which is good. It's really good.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and jump in it. I put it on for like a second and my TV turned off. I took it as a sign that God didn't want me to watch it, so I left it alone. But I'm gonna try again. You see what's going on right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, Sheree says she's in episode 5. It is so crazy.
I see. She says it's episode 5. It is called Perfect Match, isn't it? It's called Perfect Match, right?
Yep, the Perfect Match, and it has literally everybody that we used to talk about. They done threw them on there, and it's very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a dip and see. I know you and Sean will start watching, innit? So, maybe you guys can start off, and I'll catch up, and then we can get it going. You know what I mean? After you lot are cutting it up today, so you're definitely not afraid to cut it up. So I can get you two on it. You know what I mean? But yeah, guys, listen, it's been amazing. It's been great. It's been fun. It's been nice. It's been a good time. So I'm gonna bring the show to an end, but we'll be here again on Saturday night for Ready to Love. I'll talk about that as well. And then Sunday we're here for the men's panel. You know, it's been some good conversations. If you missed Tuesday night, you missed out on a heavy conversation. Okay. Jam, I love you, and I know you was in today. I saw you as well. So it was good to have that conversation, you know what I mean? I got strong opinions now, but I'm just saying it was a good conversation. Okay. So Sunday we're back again. I haven't thought of a topic just yet, so we'll get it to you guys soon. And then Tuesday again, we'll be back with another open panel. So it's looking interesting still. But yes, listen, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, as Brother Sean already said, and click on the bell button for notifications of the uploads as well. Y'all know I'm not going to leave you without saying this, as we always do. Denzel will be taking us out every time.
Mike, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Y'all better not leave here without something. Click on that like button.